Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second bonus episode that we have for today. If you guys have been watching, not my disclaimer going already, Willie's not even here. If you guys have been watching regularly, you know that we had a record number of show extensions. I wasn't trying to stay on until 6 in the morning, and I certainly wasn't trying to roll over. So we are having two bonus episodes. This is the second of two, and we are going to have a good time. I'm a very special guest today. And she is here all the way from Los Angeles, not tuning in from Los Angeles. She's here in the flesh. Like I could touch her. Put your hand out. Put your hand out. They can see. See, she's here. She is in the flesh. I am going to bring her to the stage in just a second. I see someone is here. Let me know in the comments who you are, where you're watching from, so I can say hi. And of course, if this is your very first show, let me know that you're a newbie so I can give you some extra love. I got to give a special shout out to Kenny. He's in first place again. He's been in first place for quite a few weeks now. So someone needs to come for his spot. Give him some competition. And my quickly becoming new favorite, Vanessa, she is here with the hit the like. Thank you for the love, Vanessa. Thank you for earlier on the other live stream today showing some love. Let's see. Look, Kenny does not miss a thing. Okay, he don't miss nothing. He said, good day, good evening. He said, did the 250 go towards Jacob, or last week did it go towards your dating counseling? It was supposed to go towards a session, but nobody signed up. So, we'll make sure it goes to a good spot. He said, it just so happens to be on a church night for Bible study. Do you need me to pray for y'all? I will take all the prayers I can get, Kenny. Okay. We need the good prayers. Love Life Travel. She said, hello. Hey, girl. Good to have you. I know that you guys are regulars, but if any newbies come on, be sure to let me know that you are a newbie. Real quick, let's get into some announcements, and then I'm going to bring on my lovely cousin. Okay. If you've been living under a rock, you might not know that my 8-week coaching program, The Dating Manual, resumes June 18th. And so enrollment for this program is open. I still have a few spots left. So if you want to be a part of that, you could just go to my Instagram page and you can click on the discovery, the dating manual, click on the discovery call. That sets up a free consultation. You can find out what it's all about and if it's a good fit for you. Okay. But I have had 80 plus women go through the program. They love it. And I know you will too. Okay. So that starts on the 18th of June. We got a newbie in the house. Hey, Melanie, good to see you. And you guys, believe it or not, I am not a bot. Okay. When you follow me on Instagram, I say hello to you, and usually it's within 24 hours. I actually remember you, Melanie, from Instagram. You just joined, I want to say today. So a bot couldn't do that. So good to see you. Glad you're able to join. And I just apologize in advance because the bonus episodes are very, very casual. So maybe you shouldn't watch this as your first introduction to me on YouTube, but good to see you. And I see that StreamYard has a new format. I really like the way that the little blurbs are showing up now. This is brand new. Very cute. Okay. All right. And let me see any other announcements. Obviously, if you guys are liking the show, hit the like button. If you have a friend who would enjoy it, hit the share button. And if you are on a cellular device like so, you are going to have to close the comments to be able to access the like button, and then you can go back into the comment section because we want you active. Okay. Okay. I think that's all the tea we have for now. Without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. You know what? We reserve this for tips, but I think this deserves a. Okay. All right. Here she is.
Hi, family.
Hey. Okay, so we got to figure this thing because I've never had somebody in studio before. So we might have, let's try the mute. Let's see if that works. Okay. Yep, there it goes. Okay, that's crazy that it picked it up double. All right. So yes, we're here. We're going to be having a conversation. We have so many good discussions like in real time, and you guys are going to be able to join. Let me know if you can hear her okay. Why don't you say testing 1 2?
Testing 1 2.
Let me know if you could hear that clearly, because then we'll just leave her muted. And then I'll kind of push our microphone between the two of us. Okay. But it's very good. It's a very, very expensive microphone, so it better work. She said, yes, she did join IG. Yes, see guys, I'm not a bot. All right. So here is the topic for today. How many of you guys were here when this organically came up in one of our Tuesday night shows. Do men even like women? Okay. And by the way, I'm not talking about, hanky panky. Are they secretly, on the other team? I don't mean that. I mean, literally, do they like our company? Now, I don't normally have a camera over there and I'm going to be anal. That little stand, it's got to go. Yep. It's just killing my vibe. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're going to talk about, do men even like women? How many of you guys watching live were there when I was, I was actually a little flustered that day because I was just like,
Heated.
Do y'all really like women like that? Or are we just there to serve a purpose? Okay. And so I never do this, but you know what? Bonus episodes are different than any episode. So I can break whatever. Oh, good. They can hear you. See, Kenny said sometimes women can be annoying ASF most of the time. Kenny, you can't be a Bible study talking about ASF. Okay, sir. It may be anointed, sanctified, and favored, but we can't be saying ASF at Bible study. He said, Yanti, this is your twin. Exactly. Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Oh, so I'm actually gonna dig up. I didn't mean to put that up there. My bad. Oh, it's supposed to be this one.
You need a good.
I do. Give me. They know I'm trying to get over the good bronchitis that wasn't diagnosed as bronchitis. Okay, so I'm actually gonna share a video that you will be seeing on the show later. And so I was not prepared because this is, we're just doing this Johnny on the spot. So let me go ahead and where's the one? There we go. Okay. So here's the video. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So give me two good seconds to pull this up, y'all. This is a video that came across my feed. And I was like, oh my God, we have to talk about this. And I don't think I can wait until it's time. Okay, here it is. There we go. And to answer your question, Kenny, where is Willie? I'm going to give him a pass. And thank God my cousin is here because Willie is always here first. I think he's sleepy because his phone is on like silent notifications or whatever, but he's always here on time. So I think he might have overslept. So, and Mont said he's coming too. So I don't know. They might just be running late, which again, praise God she's here because that would be awkward to be by myself. Okay.
Got you, Boo.
Thank you. That's how we do. All right. So here we go. This is what the video says.
All right, love you, boy. Love you too. Love you, boy. Love you too. Y'all be safe. Let me know when you going.
All right, babe, I'm finna leave. Love you.
Love you too.
You're not gonna give me a hug?
Oh, damn, man. I'm playing the game. Shit. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Damn. Oh, shit. Hello?
I miss you.
Miss you too.
What you doing right now? You busy?
Yeah, I'm with the guys right now.
What time you coming home?
Shit, I don't even know, but I'm gonna call you back, all right?
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Shit, she annoying as hell, man. Oh, shit, my dog. Yo!
We miss you, boy.
Miss our boys too. What y'all been on?
Damn, for real. What you doing right now? You busy?
Hell no, I ain't busy. I'm chilling with my girl.
Pull up to the house. We finna watch the game.
I better for the be on the way.
So it's just forget about me, huh?
Damn, babe, I've been with you all day. Is it a crime to hang out with the boys for a little bit? I'll be back later tonight. Relax. Shit.
So stressed.
Okay, so it's the double standards for me. So yeah, just to reiterate, we're not talking about these men are secretly on the down low, anything like that. We're talking about outside of physical needs being met, because like the purpose they serve would be physical needs being met, having children if they want to build their legacy, basically procreation and sexual gratification. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, the way that a lot of men talk about women would lead one, I believe, to perceive that they don't actually like us. What was that term?
Yeah.
Something but don't like us?
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and what we were talking about is that they know that they need us and want to be with us because, like we're talking about straight men want to be with women. So for that purpose, yeah. But there are, and I'm going to say this, and y'all could come for me, there seems to be a group of men that don't fundamentally have the best opinion or respect for women. So because of that overall thought process that they have of us, it's like they love us, they got to be with us, they, you know, all the good things that we can bring and all that other stuff. But do they really like us? Like, are they annoyed by us? Like, do they have a bad opinion of us?
Annoyed by us is facts.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I want to unpack this. It's interesting. I actually went to ChatGPT, of course, my bestie. And I believe I was the one who introduced you to Chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now my best friend.
She used to make fun of me, like, oh my God,
I
but
did.
then now she gets it and she's
I
like,
get it.
they go together. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what ChatGPT said. Okay. Oh, that was ChatGPT is the one who said it. I was like, someone said something. Okay. There's a difference between wanting women and liking women. It says men are conditioned to want access to a woman's body, her nurturing, or her companionship, but not necessarily to understand. I'm getting a phone call from Willie live on the show. You're not on speaker, but yes, sir. Hello. They're asking about you. Oh, I need the debrief on that tomorrow. Okay. Perfect. Luckily, my cousin is here, so she is standing in until you get here. Oh, that's the plan, but I had to put
Thank
it
you.
more dramatically.
Thank you, Willie. Willie
Drive
said I
safely.
could thank.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, Willie, the only one who can call. Well, and Monte, excuse me. Put some respect on it while I am in there, okay? All right. While I'm on the show.
Okay, Kenny.
But y'all were asking, okay? Let's see. Hey, Avatar, welcome back. Good to have you, sir. Haven't caught a show in a minute. How dare you? Okay. Okay, but let's get back to this. We'll actually I'll read Kenny's comment first. Can I go ahead and post it up?
Yeah, that
He
was
said,
good.
some men think that. Okay, let me take this video down because that is irking me how it's blocking. Okay, some men do think that way. Women are needed for physical affection, etc. The better question is, are you peaceful and calm and not rowdy? Because if you were rowdy, can we put you? We can put you back out and sleep where you belong.
Is that what the dogs?
Rough. I mean, Kenny says what he feels.
Yeah,
he doesn't hold back.
You know, and I'm not mad at that. I think, but to my exact point, Kenny, that's what I'm saying. I think that there are so many bad perceptions of women in that particular vein that it kind of spoils it for everybody, right? So it's like it's conditional.
Mm-hmm.
If she's the type of woman who's this, if she's the type of woman who's peaceful, she's the type of woman who brings him peace and all these other things. Okay, maybe she's cool. But then the thing this is what I would beg of you. Then if for any reason we're perceived as unpeaceful,
you beat me to it, cousin.
Because we have a concern or a problem, then do we get back in the category of the woman who's like, you know, perceived that way, right? Does that make sense?
Because it's not, I hear all the time, he's Uncle Willie calling the show. It's like calling in saying he's late for work. I know these people, they need to clock in on time. I told them I don't pay them, but I expect to be good employees.
Period.
But here's the thing. So she brought up the point that I was absolutely going to get to. This idea, I think that men have is unrealistic. This peaceful woman, basically, this is what I hear, actions, speaking louder than words, don't bother me for anything. Don't expect anything. Sit back, be pretty, be there when I need you, and don't have an opinion. That is the dream woman. And I said something, it's really sad, but I said, I think for a lot of men, a dream woman would be someone who is either mute or you have the opportunity like a toy to turn her voice on and off. I really don't think that men truly care to hear majority of the stuff that we say. They don't care to hear a majority of the things that we're thinking about. And a lot of times it's, I'm just going to do what I need to do to keep the peace. But I don't think that we're just so different as genders. I'm curious to know what the ladies in the comments are thinking.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to hear what the men are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So chat said, men are conditioned to want her body, conditioned to want access to her body, her nurturing, or her companionship, but not necessarily to understand her, cherish her, or enjoy her feminine essence. And it says this is often because no one taught them how to. Now, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt and also flip it to the other way. One of the notes that I took that I wanted to talk about was that a lot of times I think the turmoil comes between the opposite sex it's so hard not to look. I would be like, I wanted to look at you. Look, it's so unnatural to like talk to somebody when no, it's not your fault, but it's unnatural to talk to someone when they're right here. I'm like, hi. We're different. And I think that as women, we can get frustrated because Sean and I will be finishing each other's sentences. We get it. I could tell a story and she already would be like, girl, oh my God. And she already knows, like, that's a violation. You're probably pissed. Da-da-da. You tell a guy a story and he's like, this actually happened the other day. He's like, what's the problem? Yeah. In my mind, I'm explaining, I just got stabbed. I'm on fire. I just got run over by a car. And then they reversed and backed up over me. And Sean is going, oh my God. And the guy is going, what's the issue?
Yeah. But I mean, it's about appreciating the difference between a man and a woman. Like for me, and I maybe, Melanie, and you guys can kind of come in. The thing is that there are certain things I appreciate about a man because he's a man, his protection, those kinds of things. And I think sometimes the things that make us women, which is our vulnerability, our communication, which tends to be looked at as like nagging or over communication. Mm-hmm. These are the things that make us the women that we are. That's our feminine energy. And I think sometimes it doesn't get seen in the same light of appreciation as we can see these things from a man. Like in the same vein, we have to appreciate that a man is not going to be typically as emotional as we are. They may not be able, not that they can't meet our needs emotionally, they're not built like us. So we're going to get on the floor and cry and wet the carpet with our tears. And you guys will probably be looking at us like, that's crazy as hell. But, I just feel like there's not the same appreciation for our gifts, which are communication, which is.
Yeah. What we're doing now. Yeah. Emotional intelligence, empathy, all of these things. I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Well, yeah, I was gonna say there are times we don't see it as strength, but like there are things that I see in a man that I like about him. But I was gonna say they could be very directed to the point, but then there are times I don't want directness because if I say not directness, but to the point, if I say, oh my God, what's the tea with Mont and his girl? I don't want him to be like, oh, they broke up. God forbid, Mont. But like, I would want the tea, like, this is what happened. And there was an explosion. Like we were on the tea, but the guy is just like, well, the end result is they broke up. So let's get to it. Welcome to the show, Mont. Good to have you. Got my cousin Sean here. What are your thoughts? We're actually rehashing the conversation we had a couple weeks ago. I have some new points that I want to make, but I know you shared your thoughts before, but if you could just share with the new people your thoughts on this. Did you catch it up enough of what we were saying to chime in? Okay, so we'll so we were saying that I think that the differences between men and women make men sometimes see women as unenjoyable. So we're very good at communicating. That's part of our feminine nature, is expressing. But that tends to be something that men say is annoying. She's expressing too much. Or being in touch with our emotions and being, able to know what we're feeling, but then we could be labeled as emotional. So the things that I believe God made us to be, and we're beautiful because of it, I feel like we're now penalized for those very things. And then I was trying to be fair. And I said, with men, you guys could be very focused. You could be very laser focused and to the point, but then we could be annoyed by that, which is a strength. But if, for example, storytelling, we're like, don't just get straight to the point. Like
all the details.
We want all the details. Yeah. So, and you guys tend to be laser focused, but that means you're not good at multitasking. So if we say, can you do this? And on the way home, do this, it's struggle. But then I'm sorry, I'm going to add this. I struggle because a lot of the things that we ask for our men in relationships, you guys excel at the job. So you don't get the luxury of telling your boss, I'm writing an email, so please don't ask me to also share this paperwork. Like you have to figure out how to do it. It works. Welcome to the show. I know that chuckle so well. And Willie's on his way here, by the way. He ran late.
That was a loaded chuckle.
Very loaded. No pressure.
So what's the question? What's the question for me?
Oh, she's over communicating. I gave
Yeah,
it too much. Just your thoughts on if the things that make us us, do you think as a gender are also the things that trigger the opposite sex, the things that make us different? Like if you had a man do a lot of the things that women do, you'd be like, you acting like a female. And if a woman was doing all the things that a man would be doing, they'd be like, she's acting like a dude. But it seems like y'all like it when men act like, like you prefer to be around men most of the time than women, it seems like.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't really ask him a direct question. You saw that. I guess I would say, yeah, just the things that make
figure out his whole life.
Yeah. The things that women do instinctively as women, I think they agitate men. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think sometimes women confuse women. I think you can confuse yourself sometimes and it confuse us. You never been in a position where you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what I feel. You never been in that position?
It never happens to me. But go ahead, please continue.
I think a lot of women kind of, and I know at least for me, like I'm a very emotionally intelligent person. So whenever my girl is feeling away, I'm trying to help her identify what she feels.
That's unusual, but you're not, in my opinion, on the average part of the spectrum.
Yeah. Which
is why I've complimented you so much. He's very good at expressing. Mm-hmm. He's very, I hate to use the word articulate because as a Black person, that's triggering to me, but you are able to articulate your thoughts more clearly than most men I have seen. Yeah. And I think he tends to be very fair. Every now and then we be butting heads, but you tend to be very fair in your take. So I won't take from that point, but I feel like Willie and saying, you're the exception, Mont. So your point doesn't valid.
Mont in the same light say that maybe it just comes from, a man is a man, a woman is a woman, clearly. And men, that's why the whole, thing, what is it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And that we don't know each other. We don't understand each other. So when I say something, do something that's in like that feminine space, because you don't understand it, you don't get where we're coming from. When to us, it's like, okay, I'm clearly just trying to communicate this. I'd like for him to go forward and move in this way or that way. In the same way, like for instance, I can even say with my partner, for instance, he's the kind that kind of like in conflict, like when he gets like overwhelmed, he'll shut down, right? Just shut down the conversation. Like we're not talking anymore. None of those things are happening. And to me, that equals you don't care enough to stay in this conversation. It doesn't matter that I'm upset. It doesn't matter that I'm hurt. You're just going to shut it down. But because I do understand this about men, when they do get overwhelmed,
they need a process.
They need a process. And it's actually protecting us that y'all take a little second.
Yep.
And just don't say like what's on the front of your mind. You'd rather go away with it and come back later. But I understand that, so I don't take it negatively.
But
and
if
I
you
think
didn't
men don't process our emotions that way, where they say, hey, I know she's being a little cray-cray right now, but this is why, because this is how women are, right? They're sensitive. And these are all the things that you should love us for, because if not, then you just want to be with the men. You want somebody who's hard. You want somebody who doesn't cry. You want somebody who doesn't communicate. So like, let us know.
Yeah. I think that's sort of a weakness that men need to work on. I don't think it's actually like that non-communicating thing. I feel like at minimum, because I understand that sometimes you can't think right now. So if you can't think right now, you haven't processed your thoughts. You need time, you need space. At minimum, men should, everybody, but if men are going to be the leader of their relationship, at minimum, they should say, hey, I need to table this right now. I just need to process this. Let's talk about this tomorrow.
Yes.
A lot of people just think, let's forget about it. That's not an option, You have to say it might not be tomorrow, it might not be the day after, but we're going to talk about this and we're going to process it. We're going to come back to it. A lot of guys don't at least say that, and I think that's the least you owe somebody is to say, I can't, because a lot of women want to hash it out right there.
Yeah,
because it's so heavy and passionate about it right in that moment. But yeah, sometimes people just need a second, but at least you have to communicate how much time you need and when you're going to revisit this.
And one of the things that I learned, I think I might shared this before, is that somebody said he was the opposite. He wanted to, he's a talk it througher, and his person, I don't know if it's a wife or girlfriend, I'm getting overwhelmed. And he said what he realized is she was going and just avoiding it during that space. And so they came to an agreement that no, the time apart is not for you to entertain yourself, go play games and watch TV. It's meant for you to actually process. So if you need to journal, if you need to sit in silence, if you need to meditate, if you need to pray, the purpose of that time spent is to come back to the conversation. And I think that a lot of people use it to put a pin in it or shove it under the rug. And the other thing that I want to add is that for me, as the person who wants to talk it through, one, yes, there is the major part that I want resolution, because resolution, it's like the cliffhanger of a really good show. I need this resolved. I need to know who killed it, who's done it, whatever. So there's part of that gives angst. But for me, the deeper underlying emotion is if we're having conflict, and typically these types of discussions are heated and volatile. For me, it's like, I hate to use the word fight, but you feel disconnected.
Yeah.
During this, you feel disconnected. So if we finish and we talk it all through, we're now coming back. So what I told Monte, I realized that I need, even if we don't stop, if we see it all the way through, we kind of finish like, okay, I get what you're saying, you get what I'm saying. And maybe we even said, sorry, I still feel awkward in my spirit and my body. I need a affirmation and a reconnection, which looks like a verbal affirmation and a hug. And so it makes me feel like I am safe again, because every woman wants to feel safe. So if Monte were to say, baby, I'm glad we got this worked out. You know, I love you, right? I know he loves me, but there's something about hearing him say it post debate, discussion, argument, whatever. I still love you. Come here. Or I say, I want you to invite me. If we had a discussion, I want you to invite me to cuddle. Something like that tells me in my body and my mind, we're good again. And that's what I need. I need to know we're good again. It's not about the argument. It's deeper than that. I think that guys think it like you just want to keep going and pick it till death.
We want to fix it.
But we want closeness again.
And that's where men and women, another way that men and women are different and can be misunderstood too, is because we want to come to a resolution quickly. Because we understand that when that doesn't happen, it leaves place for resentment. Woo! And guys are different. Like I know
don't make me do a church dance.
I've had arguments with my guy where I'll look over and this dude is snoring like Betty by it. I'll go to sleep and I'm literally can't sleep all night because we haven't
knots in our stomach.
Yeah. So, and I think it can be perceived to to Avatar's point, because he said also the point about being expressive. I think women expecting men to be as expressive as they are is probably where the annoyance comes in. It's annoying because you don't understand. If you understood that the reason why we want to close the loop on this and express things and get things together is because we want to be close to you. It's hard for us in an argument after an argument to have that space and to know we're not okay. We want to fix it. We're nurturers. Appreciate that about the woman. That's what it is. If you understood, then you get it. Right?
You'd see it as a beautiful thing, not her being annoying. Like, I hope they really heard what you just said, because if she actually loves you, there's a saying, if your woman doesn't get mad and scream and get jealous or whatever the term is, she don't care. Like, a woman on some level is going to feel away. And if she doesn't have any feelings that can't be provoked, she don't feel away, right? Not that you should provoke her just to say you're provoking her, but you should also take it like this. If your woman is constantly trying to reconnect, which we're teaching you, that's what that is. That's a sign that she F's with you hard. She wants to reconnect. We don't see eye to eye. We had something is off. I need to reconnect. Same thing with Sean. Hopefully I can say this. I won't tell you anything specific. No, Sean and I are like attached to the hip. We talk all of the time. If there's ever a time where our communication seems different, guess what I'm doing? I'm addressing it.
She tripping.
I'm like, and if she were to dismiss me, that would feel so bad. Or she'd be like, oh my God, you're doing the most. That would feel so invalidating, because my thing is, I want to make sure we're good. And then I get the confirmation, oh, no, I've just been really busy with the kids, or I've been, work has been giving me too much work, or whatever. But we want to know what to expect, and we want to know that we're safe, and we want to reconnect. Welcome to the show, Willie. They were asking about you, man.
We've been crying. We just stopped.
Dang it, my tissue box just ran out too.
Oh, did
you hear enough to have a comment?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're muted again. That's like your thing. That's gonna be his thing. He comes in muted, and then we're like, you're muted.
Still muted.
He said, don't throw me under the bus. By the way, there's a private chat right here, Sean. If
No.
click,
Oh yeah, I saw.
then you get to
No,
see it.
I agree with you, Avatar. No bus to be thrown under. I drive the bus and you're on it and you're in the front.
And we did know that was 15 minutes ago, but for people watching after the fact, yes, that was. We were saying, what's the issue? But what were you saying, Willie? Now that we can actually hear you. Look, I'm like, why are you still him this high-tech system? Whatever you did last week worked because you unmuted and then you hit something else. I was laughing because right when Mont left, we said maybe we communicate too much. And he's like, I was gonna say, yeah, we just communicated too much.
Sure, we keep doing it. We should just be mute the whole. Don't say anything else, no. Let them talk.
I cannot.
I don't think women communicate too much. I think that if you don't know the emotions that you're feeling, you can get caught in a loop.
Mm-hmm.
And people can identify that you're in a loop. And I think that might be the issue a lot of times, especially like if you've ever been in a relationship or if you ever have a friend who it feels like, yo, you keep telling me the same thing about your boyfriend. Like there's no solution. It's just like, yo, you keep telling me the same thing about your boyfriend. It's just like you're caught on a loop. You don't know, you don't have a solution.
Right.
And every time you tell me this story, it's like it's the first time you told me this story. But I feel like it's the 100th time I heard this story. So that's kind of like, that can be an annoyance to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the ability as a partner to help your partner identify what they're feeling or just kind of like go down that road, it probably is very difficult.
It's interesting. I think that with women, and this is what if I coach couples, I say we like to express how we feel, but men are very proactive and solution based. So I think the hybrid is to say maybe one or two lines about how you feel so you can get off your chest, but then say, what is the solution? And one girl, when I gave her that exercise, she was stumped. She didn't know what the solution was. And I said, if you are the person with the issue and the expectations and you don't know what the solution is, imagine what your husband must feel like. Yeah. And so I try to come up with a solution before I even bring it to my partner. So like, hey, I'm feeling this way. Hey, do you think that in the future we could X, Y, Z? And then he could say yes or no. And then it's done. I think sometimes people just want to be heard. As women, we just want to be heard. And it can seem like we're just verbally lashing you guys. I wanted to bring up this classic, I think, male-female thing because it's so funny. Her guy will say something, my guy will say something. It'll be the exact same thing. And then we'll have the same thoughts. So I'm like, I think it's definitely a different thing. But the old, are we debating or are we just asking questions? So yeah, you might want to bring a refill up. So perfect situation. I have been asking Monte, hey, let me know if certain things sound like debates, because to me, I'm nowhere near debating, but it can be perceived that way. So he had mentioned a plan to do something. And on my end, I'm introducing more information so that he could make a better decision. Does that make sense? And so let's say, for example, Monte were to say, I'm planning to have a picnic tomorrow. And I've just looked at the weather app and I'm expecting, and I see that there's a torrential downpour coming. I say to him, oh, just to let you know, I don't know if you want to have it tomorrow because there's rain. So when we had the exchange, I said, hey, I realized after the fact, did that sound like I was debating? And he's like, a little bit. And so I thought that is so interesting because in my mind and in her mind, right, our mind is like, we're helping you by giving you more information to base the decision upon. So
hold on, say that again. Say what you said again.
Okay, so the situation is the guy says something and then the woman gives more information or asks a follow-up question. So let's say in this scenario, excuse me, well, I'll just use the specific because it's not exaggerated on my end. I just won't use too specific. But he's going to have the kids do something tomorrow. And I said, hey, my daughter has a hair appointment and it takes X amount of hours. And so, wanted to let you know that that's there. Also, this activity has to happen on this day, so it might work better to do that. He was just like, I forget what he said, but then eventually he just was like, okay. So it hit me. I said, let me go back and ask him because I'm trying to learn in real time what seems like debating. So I said, did that seem like a debate? He said, a little bit. So, wow, really? Because for me, I'm looking at it like you're making the best decision with all the information you have. But if I, as your partner, can give you a little bit more information, it may or may not change what you think is the best plan of action, which is if I was running a team, I'd want to know all the information so I could make the best decision. I might still say what I originally said, but at least I know that information. So I was giving the example of like, if he says, I'm going to do a picnic tomorrow, and I said, oh, just so you know, the rain, it says there's like 100% chance of rain, it's a downpour coming. You can still have the thing, but I just want to give that information. Have you ever experienced that? And if you have, why does it feel like a debate as opposed to somebody trying to be helpful?
I think, at least with me, words are so important, and I listen very closely to what people say. So when somebody says something in a way that
the way it's said,
it's not if somebody uses a specific word, you can get, it can be debate provoking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know that I went through a stage in my relationship where Deja did it a lot. Before we went to therapy, it was something that she did a lot, but we talked about how we communicated after that. But I'm trying to even see if I can think of an example of.
Yeah, that would be
Can I
helpful.
share mine too? Can I bring it home a little?
Yeah.
So
But she would.
Oh, go ahead.
We would get caught up in almost like debates over things that she said that might have just been wrong. And I'm like, yo, that's just technically wrong.
Yeah.
And and I guess it's because the way she said it, like when things are wrong, I like, my mind is just like, yo, that's wrong. I have to address that.
Like all is not right in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's like the problem. Whereas if people said things and left a little bit more, and left like themselves some little bit of slack, like me, I try not to die on any hills unless it's like, yo, I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I try to always say, you know what, I could always be wrong. So a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just say what they're gonna say, but I'm like, I don't want to come off arrogant. I can always be wrong about anything. I'm just telling you what I think I know. And I think that's one of those things for me.
And that's why I think and Sean's going to share an example, but that's why I gave the one, with the kids, because, it was all through text and it was just, hey, just give you a heads up, this is this and this. So at the end of it, I said, can you help me understand why it felt like a debate? And he said, when you told me about the hair appointment, I knew it wasn't going to be all day. So in my mind, it was like, what's the big deal? So it's like, it's going to be a struggle for me. And it's so funny because my mom was told the same thing from my dad. It's going to be a struggle for me because part of nurturing is being helpful for me. Yeah. And that's the spirit in which I'm doing. Perfect example. Sorry, I give one more. Yeah, so Sean came, she accidentally left one of her toiletry bags, toothbrush, toothpaste, whatever. She was going to go to the store and buy it. Now I'm not trying to control her, but my brain said, hey, we got a lot of supplies here. We could probably get you through and you're going to save money. Would you like to? Now, she ended up getting most of the stuff anyway, but I feel like if that had been a guy, he'd have been like, why are we debating this? So what was your example you were going to give?
So for me, I think Narelle's example is it would be on the more innocent side. And I think you in the middle, what's his name? Mon. I think your situation, you brought it home in the way that a guy could perceive.
Sorry to distract you. It's all right.
You could understand that the way that it is said to you, even though it's a suggestion to really help you make a decision and kids were involved. You don't want them all out in the room. My situation, I was talking to Beyonce about this earlier, and the way that it came up for me was in a more like volatile like situation. So not to say the specific thing that happened.
Names will be changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah. So in this situation, it could have been perceived as a confrontation because with my partner, I had a concern with something that he did.
It was out of the ordinary.
That was out of the ordinary. Like, let's just say, not that you should trip if your person doesn't call you every day like they're supposed to. We're using this as an example of the topic because the topic was actually really sensitive. So I ain't going to do all that to y'all. But in the situation, let's pretend I said to him, hey, I didn't come foul. I try to be really careful. Like, I don't want to, deliver anything on an ish sandwich. You know what I mean? I know, to bring. Yeah. I said to him, hey, you didn't call me like you normally call me. And when I don't, I'm knowing in my mind that when I don't call him,
it's a big deal.
It's a situation, right? This is our thing. We call each other every night before bed. It's our thing, right? And if I don't do it, he says something. So this particular night, he doesn't call me, right? So I say to him, hey, why didn't you call me? And to your point, Mont, where you said, if it's not right, you have a problem moving on. Now, if he gave me a response that made sense, like, oh, my phone broke, or whatever, then I'd be like, okay, cool, have a good night. You know what I'm saying? But instead, he says, oh, you know what? I just wasn't comfortable calling tonight.
I actually feel like it tonight.
You're like, okay, so that's what he said. That was his answer, right? I'm thinking now my wheels are spinning. And I'm like, so weird. I'm like, you're not comfortable, but this is like our thing. And since when did it become uncomfortable? So I asked a follow-up question, right? Follow-up question was, I guess I'm confused as to why it's uncomfortable tonight when each night every other night it hasn't been. In the back of my mind, I'm not going through all of this, but I'm saying, and if I did it to you, it'd be a whole thing, right? When I got to that secondary question, it was
real quick, just to clarify. Just tell me exactly what you said to him so that I can have that.
Yes. Okay. I have to because I'm putting it in a different scenario.
Yeah. Okay.
But she's just switching out the word didn't call versus
what. But at least for the sake of this conversation, you what you said in this make-believe conversation was, I'm just confused because normally you would call me any other night, pretty much.
Yeah. So he said he wasn't comfortable. I said, this was said. I said, can you help me to understand?
So you first asked why
tonight you weren't comfortable when every other night it's a situation where you are comfortable. And then it was like, I know y'all have done it before. It's one of those things where you feel like your girl is about to trip and you off that like, like all of those things. And I was just like, so that was to her same kind of point. It was just a follow-up question because I was confused by the prior answer. And I already know that in my mind, like to your point, Mont, if it doesn't make sense or if it's just plain wrong, it's not that you weren't comfortable. That's not why you didn't call that particular night or whatever. And I know that. So just, you let me know whatever it is, like I could feel satisfied with the answer. But if I don't get it, I don't have the right to ask a follow-up question.
So pretty much you felt like he not only wasn't being honest, he was even being lazy with not even wanting to think about how he felt. Or,
you know what, to be honest with you, I didn't even really know, which is why I asked the question, because it was confusing to me. And I wasn't trying to just interject. I wasn't trying to jab. I didn't want to start a problem. I didn't understand. And I really wanted to understand. You know what I mean?
And it's also something that's very like a sign of affection. Like it has meaning to it. So it would be like the equivalent of if every time you sat on the couch with Deja, you guys were up under each other cuddling, but this time she sat down, and she makes the biggest deal about snuggling with you. Mm-hmm. And then this time she sits on the couch, she sits all the way on the end. And then when you go, hey, why are you sitting on the end? And she's like, because I felt like sitting over here. I'm more comfortable on this side. And you're like, for the last 3 years, okay. And then when you probe a little more, because you're like, that's weird. It's like, I said I just more like, could you just leave it alone? That's where it is. And then now your head is spinning like, this is not like Deja. What the hell? But now it's classified as, when I say
you're
something,
tripping.
just
Mhm.
let it be. But if she wants to do it to you and make a thing, Mom, why is your arm around me? Why aren't you cuddling me? Why isn't your leg on me?
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? So now you're up to speed.
Got you.
Yeah, just a different like angle on it, which kind of, I guess, dramatizes it a little bit more. But I think that happens a lot with men and women in, you know, that dynamic. A lot of times it feels like before you even come into a conversation, like if we were to text you and say, hey, can we talk about something later? By the time y'all come into it, it's like, oh, here we go. I got to go home and deal with this like BS. And it's like, no, like, we're just going to have a conversation. And that's how we are. A lot of times guys will kind of stuff things. Sometimes, Mom, you seem like you're a little bit of an exception, like she said. Exception. But for the most part, guys will stuff things and they'll continue to be a problem and they'll build a resentment over it, where we will be upfront about it, and that'll be annoying.
Interesting. I thought that was more of a trait of women, but I can imagine it being a trait of somebody who doesn't want to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see how it would depend on the person, because it might be typically one gender, but then there could be people in the opposite where the guy always wants to talk it through.
Yeah.
And I think we're drawn to people who are the opposite. So I haven't had deep talks with your girl. I've just met her, but if you tend to be more, I don't want to call it emotional intelligence. That sounds disrespectful to her, but like maybe if you're more in touch with your feelings, you can articulate your feelings more, then you're going to have the opposite struggle.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I write things for her. Like if she ever is like, yo, I gotta send this email to somebody, and she's like, I'm like, yo, don't even send it. I got you, because I know she's gonna write it wrong. She's not gonna. She's gonna make it maybe a little bit too harsh, or it's gonna be too soft. So I write for her.
Yeah. Willie does this phrase. I would like to talk later. Does that freak you out?
Yeah, if you come to me and say we need to talk later, we're gonna talk now. We're not gonna talk at all. You're not gonna put me in no position where I'm sitting here acting like I'm in the third grade and I got a referral and my mama know about it. So then when I get home, I have to wait to see when she's gonna beat my ass. No, you're gonna talk to me now.
Wait for this whooping.
I had to tell my mom, I made her promise to never use that phrase, because when my mom, even as an adult, when that text would come across, we need to talk, my heart would drop. And it would be something as simple as, hey, I just wanted you to know I'm switching doctors, so can you update your records? Like, Mom, you had me like stressed out. I don't know why that phrase makes everybody jump to the worst conclusions, because we could be talking about dentist appointments, but can we talk?
Because it's extremely what I want to say it's extremely what is it when you don't care about somebody else's feelings? Inconsiderate. To text that to somebody. And I know me, I'm like Willie with it. Like, you either gotta brief me, like, no, you have to make sure that I know that it's something that we don't have to talk about right now. So, because I'm gonna be asking questions and you're gonna be like, well, no, it's really just not that big of a deal. I just wanted to talk about this. And I'm like, all right, well, we can talk about that later.
She was gonna give me feedback like yesterday, and this stuff I had the nerve to be like, oh, I'm gonna go brush my teeth. I said, if you don't sit down right now, I was like, I need at least the cliff notes, because my brain starts to spiral. So I get that. I just think I have this theory. So I'm not going to say men versus women. I'm going to say conflict avoidant people and conflict diveriners. The difference is, I think that conflict avoidant people give themselves credit and pop their collar for saying, I'm peaceful, I'm drama free. And the reality is, no, you just suppress. You suppress. And then, like you said, it leads to resentment later. So let's say if we're in a relationship and I can't stand the way you chew, and I don't say anything, and I don't say anything, I know. And eventually I'm going to make a facial expression. Someone said a phrase, and I'm obsessed now. It said, if you don't say it with your mouth, your body is going to give you away. So if it really irks me, after a while, you're going to be smacking, and I'm going to be like, my face is going to show whatever. And then there's still tension. So it's like, we either can talk about the elephant in the room, or it could continue to be an elephant in the room, or we shove it under the rug and we keep tripping over it. But what's frustrating is that the person who's the talk it through person gets accused of disrupting the peace.
Always having a problem.
And then if you do try to bring it up as a talker through person, the other person, which they tend to be less emotionally intelligent, they perceive everything as an attack anyway. So everything you say sounds like an attack, which means they're defensive, which means it feels like a fight, which means every time you say let's talk, they perceive it's about to be a fight. It's a whole vicious cycle.
Yeah. It's a lot easier when you're a man and you take on that role, because to a degree it's like, I think it's my responsibility to take the lead in terms of communication. Like, I think as a leader, I think that's the case. And as a woman, like, a man can feel like you making him do something, you know, as opposed to, you know, me, where it's like, yo, my girl, I already explained to her in detail why we have to talk about everything, even if we don't have to talk about it right now. I already briefed her on why this is always going to be something that we, you know, address. And, you know, so
that was deep, Mont, because psychologically that's the biggest. Men want, and we will like this about y'all, you guys you make your own way. And so, but then you have to work that strength also or that thing we like also tends to be the thing that irritates us. So hopefully Monte never watches this. But what I have learned to do is just express a desire and let his masculine pick up and solve. So if I could say, it would be so nice to look out the window and see the grass nice and crisp and short, and leave it at that. And then he can get the idea, I'm going to call the landscaper. Versus if I say, will you please call the landscaper and ask him to come out? I'm not going to lie, that's taxing. But it has to, you know, it has to be done.
You know, I'm one of those people who I don't mind asking somebody something 10 times, because I know the game. And I know that it's not personal. I know that people just got a lot going on. Yeah. So I don't mind nicely asking 10 times, like, because you know who you got to do that with. You know, I have got my charger for my car installed in my house by my mom's husband, and I knew, like, even though he said he's gonna be here tomorrow, I'm texting him every day, and he canceled a couple times, like, oh yeah, this, that, and I'm like, okay, I'm not making no. I'm reminding him every day. Hey, don't forget about me. Hey, you know, like, gentle reminder.
What if he got irritated with you? What if when you said, hey, just want to remind you about the charger, and he said, oh my God, would you get off my back? I said I would do it. Yeah. What if that was his response?
Well, I let him know beforehand, like, hey, I'm going to be contacting you every day. I'm just, you know, I let them know already. They're like, yo, don't take it. I'm going to contact you every day, because I know how it is. Because I know how I am. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, time is money, and, you know, my mind is a million places. So, you know, and my girl could ask me to do something. I will never get annoyed, especially if it's my responsibility. I can't get annoyed. You know?
And that's the difference.
It does depend on how you ask, though. If you,
yeah. But I think there are some people, respectfully, you could, like she said, on a silver platter with a cherry on top, fairy sprinkles, and it's still going to provoke, because that person, if they perceive any reminder as nagging. So the solution I give to the girls in the course is, when you first get the buy-in, have an agreement time. So like, if in that scenario you gave, okay, I'm going to check in on Friday night or whatever, and say you don't have it until Saturday, and confirm with you then, is that okay? And get that buy-in ahead of time. But like what you did, you said, well, you didn't ask the buy-in, you just said, I'm going to be calling you every single day. So I guess you kind of did it just in your own way. Yeah. Hey, Greg, it's crazy seeing Greg and Jacob in the comments. Like, isn't that wild, you guys, that they're just in the comments like regular folks? If y'all don't get up on this panel.
They don't got their hands on this one.
But yeah, that is interesting. This is the quietest Willie has ever been on the show in the history of the show.
I'm listening in, also, you know, respecting this one mic thing. Mont has had me dive further into these panel streets, so I'm trying to adopt some good etiquette and decorum in these spaces.
Oh, look at y'all. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm not gonna get in my feelings that, you know, I do realize that you do have other shows. You do make mine a priority, you know. I might feel a little territorial, like, it's not realistic, but I would love them to never in the history of life ever be on anyone else's panel. But that's not realistic.
You got to understand that, like, you just the amount of the amount of stuff Willie has to offer, you could never fully be able to please him in terms of, like, we talk too much. Like, we got a lot to say. We can't just.
It's not about y'all. It's my ego. It's my ego. Yeah. I want to put you guys in a little tiny box and just, you can't go on with your lives until it's Thursday, and then I let you out and then put you back. Yeah, it's unrealistic. It's very masculine energy. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But masculine energy. Territorial. Not very territorial. No one else can have. But I'm just teasing you, not really. Jacob said Willie almost made me curse. Well, get on the show so we can see you almost curse. Delisha, nice to see you.
How did I almost make Jacob curse? Like, I haven't even said anything about Atlanta or Detroit.
He went from flag throwing to cursing. It just escalated. I don't know. Did you have a plaid leather in the background? I didn't see. Let's see. What you got? No. Just a dominant energy. Okay, here's the other thing. So some people in the studio may or may not have been told to pick their battles. Possibly, hypothetically. I said may or may not. Maybe one person may have possibly, potentially, hypothetically, has been told to pick their battles. And, I thought long and hard over this. And it sounds good in theory. But I don't necessarily know. Like, this is how my brain works. If I'm planning a lifetime with you, and there are things that are repetitious, to go back to the hypothetical, I was joking about Mont chewing. I've never seen him chew. Well, no, I think he said it chips. But anyway. But let's just say the way he chewed just irked my soul. Someone might say that's not something you should pick as a battle. But if my thing is every time we go to dinner, I feel away. And when I take him to company dinners, I'm embarrassed. Like, they're going to think we don't have class or whatever. I'm just running with this metaphor. I don't think I'm the best judge of picking my battles, and I feel that I welcome that from my person. I would be mortified if my person went 6 years and the way I'm chewing irritates the hell out of him, but because he's picking his battles, he doesn't tell me. I want to make as many changes as I can to be appealing to him and be fun to be around. So again, that's how I think of it. But to someone else, it's like, get off my back. Oh, so what are your thoughts? Yeah.
To the same point, this is what I told, and I don't mind sharing. This is what I told my partner. I don't.
Sorry, you guys know how she said partner. They got on me.
It's a guy.
No, they got on me for saying this.
Oh, I don't know why I say partner.
I said the same thing. I said
partner just sounds more sophisticated. Boyfriend just sounds like we're in school, and
I said the same thing. Anyway, sorry.
Anyways,
I just had to say that's hilarious.
But what I said to my man,
there you go,
is that sometimes he may have a concern with me, a feeling. He could be wrong, right, indifferent. He could be insecure in his thought. He could need reassurance in his thought. It could be something that he may say it to me, it's big to him. Partner sounds like he can be
right.
No fire. And he brings it to me. Now, when he brings it to me, everything inside of me could be like, is you for real right now? Right? But because it's important enough for him to bring it to me, it makes it important to me. And what I don't want about picking my battles, yes, we're not just going to trip over everything, but I do want a space with my man where if he has a concern, he brings it to me. And I can decide whether I redirect him by saying, like, hey, no, that's not the case. Or whether I'd be like, oh, baby, no, it's not like that. I always want to be with you. I didn't answer my phone because I didn't see it.
Reassure
I call you right back. So my thing is, like, we can also pick our battles, but then that means whenever we have a feeling about something that happens with our person, we got to go through this whole mental thing and figure out if we should bring it to them and then decide, hey, we're just going to keep it. Now, that doesn't mean don't talk to yourself and all that other stuff, but baby, tell me anything. Whatever you're feeling, and give me the opportunity to set you back on track, my king, like that. You know what I mean? So I hear pick your battles. And I think about that because I'll be like, am I tripping or not? But even if I'm tripping, I just want to be in the space where I can bring it to you. Yo,
Safe
tell me
space.
I'm not tripping. That just be like, you know what, you're not tripping. You are tripping. Nah, this is really what I meant. Pick me up, dust me off. I feel good. We feel good.
And we moved on.
Not I gotta stuff it because don't be a problem. And pick your battles. I want that space where you talk to me about whatever. And if you're tripping and it's crazy, then I say that.
That part.
Pick your battles doesn't necessarily mean don't talk to me about everything. It just means pick your fights.
Right.
Or pick something that's worth going to war for.
But what if
you perceive it as
war?
going to war? Right. What if the person perceives everything as going to war when it's really
you gotta understand that your partner got some deep issues to deal with. Like they got some deep, if they think that everything you talk to them about is a war, either you are positioning it as it's something that you're ready to go to war for, or they are very sensitive and don't like to be critiqued. But I think, talk to me about anything that you got a question about. You should be able to talk to somebody about it. It don't mean that you not picking your battles. It's like, hey, I just wanted to ask you about it.
Can we all give a warm welcome to Ruben?
Hi, Ruben.
I was like, oh my God, we have a new cast member.
Don't
and
start.
then the video pops up.
It's weird that he looks like a Jacob and a Ruben. I can see him as a Ruben.
Now I gotta see what he. Let's see what is he giving.
Here we go.
Here you go.
Same. It's giving that. Yes, Ruben. Should we call you Ruben today?
You call me Ruben today.
You didn't put the phonetic spelling. Ru.
Okay, I'll go back. I'll change it.
Okay, thank you.
But I think in mine has been pulling at this thread for a while. I think we've mastered the language of BS, and we really relationships require work and time and energy and effort. You don't just get there overnight. Pick your battles doesn't mean avoid things. It means timing, how you approach it. It's a lot of different things. There's no one really straight answer. I really want to live in this perfect world that sometimes we described, how everybody communicates well and talks. It's not realistic. You got to figure out your partner. You got to figure out their timing, your timing, and figure out how you have some common ground. And that takes time, energy, and effort. What I find is most people don't want to put in the time, energy, and effort. They just want it to work because they want it to work on their timing. I think that's what is missing really today. People just talking past each other. And we've mastered the language of fancy words to describe how we really feel without really getting to the point. Things like pick your battles. Who the hell said that? And what the hell did they mean? We don't even know the context they said it in.
Jacob.
They might have had a gun in their head at the time. Who knows?
You should definitely pick your battle.
You only have a knife, so
it's like the saying of master. What is it?
Master of every no,
of
Jack of all
everything.
trades, master of none.
Jack of all trades. Like now we finally got the rest of it. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like so, I think sometimes what we want to say we just don't say, and you better off. I'm one of those people when I was married. This is something that I learned. I think I shared this before. Therapists told me I was being dishonest with my mate, and I got upset at him. Like, you lost your mind. I'm not a dishonest person, but what he said is you avoided certain conversation. You didn't see how you felt. Went along to get along. And
that's
what
it.
he said to me is when he explained it this way to me, and what I got it, you didn't give the relationship the benefit of you. And when you're not expressing yourself, you don't give the other person a chance to even deal with it. You just hold on. So it's not necessarily about the battle. It's
I'm
about
putting the timestamp down because you said something. You said a whole lot right there, Jacob.
But you want to give the relationship the benefit of you so you can have the intimacy and the fullness you want, but the other person gets the chance to experience you and react to that. And I just think that we've just gotten really good at cliches and phrases, and that ain't what we really want to say. And I desire a situation where I can say what's on my mind without being judged, a chance to get it out. Or if I don't feel like saying it at the time, say that and come back to it later, but that's okay.
And that's your truth. Yeah. How did that resonate with you when he first said it real time? Because you're now older and wiser.
It pissed me off. When he said it the first time, like this is the first time I got mad at my therapist. I'm like, man, who the hell are you talking to? Because integrity is important to me. I don't.
Yes. Oh,
I'm not-
most men are like, that's a buzzword. Yeah.
And when he said it out loud, I was like, I'm not a dishonest person. What? Like I literally stood up, like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like that's not who I am. And he started laughing, and he explained to me, I'm not seeing you a dishonest person. And he broke it down for me, and that's when it sort of clicked. And there were a couple other things we went through, but what ultimately what I did with that is I called my ex. We had a conversation, and I just told her like, hey, this ain't the call to get back together. This ain't it. But I did want to apologize to you because I didn't realize I was doing that. And it's just one of those moments where like I've grown from it, I've learned from it. But I don't know. I think what we're talking about requires work. Mont, you said this, and I really admire this. I think I heard him say that you guys would go to counseling. I think that's the dopest thing to do as a couple. Like if I ever get back in the game, that's something I would love to do. Because
Second date.
you start working on things in the meantime, you're working on it as you go through it. That's
building healthy. Yeah.
Really healthy way to deal with things. And I just really admire that. So anyway, I just want to jump on, but Willie almost made me curse talking he being quiet and learning. I don't know. This is
right.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I
don't know this man. Maybe this is William.
Right. This might be William here.
Yeah.
I really Ruben.
Bill.
I appreciate you. Not Bill. Billy.
Bill.
I appreciate you sharing that's huge, and it unlocks a lot. Like I have that guess, but I won't know unless I'm in someone's head. But I have that guess. You said getting along. What do you say? Getting along, get along, or however you said it.
Get along.
Yeah. And I said this a little bit ago. I don't know if you heard it, but I feel like a lot of the people who are conflict avoidant really give themselves credit and pop their collar for being peacemakers. But the reality is you're still feeling all these things. And oh my God, I've had situations where the person said one thing to my face, but I found out through talking to someone else, or just finally came out way later, they never liked it. It's like someone saying, I've been eating your spaghetti for a year and I've hated it. Because maybe your mom puts sugar in spaghetti, but you think it's disgusting. Like, tell me now. And it makes the person feel like the person on the other end, even though you guys are doing it to be, get along, it makes us feel like blindsided, and it's almost shame because you're like, I haven't been able to give you what you need. So all this time, how have you been looking at me? And then 3, you feel like I never knew you. It's like meeting someone and it takes 2 years to find out their name was really Ruben. And all this time you thought their name was Jacob. So it's like this crazy, it's this crazy feeling of like, you almost feel like, I don't know where I stand. And it might've been something small like that, like spaghetti, or I never was okay with putting our kids in private school, but you know what? I just didn't want to make waves. Like, no, this is a safe space. And I don't know if this comes from them experiencing volatile situations before, or maybe people who weaponize their vulnerability, but it sucks that when they get to someone like me, where I'm like, open up your chest and let me see everything. I won't judge you. It's like pulling teeth.
You okay?
I feel a little bit. Give me that.
Hey, somebody,
My cousin Sean.
That was a
somebody's gonna clip you two hugging and try to make the most inappropriate.
Oh, they're together. Oh, okay. I thought that was her partner.
Family.
Oh, I thought this was her partner. I was like, that was a church hug.
One thing that I want to add is that you say that you give somebody something like on a silver platter. The problem is that silver platter is a platter that's silver to you. It doesn't necessarily take into consideration what makes it a silver platter for them.
The audacity.
Because you'll think that, well, I was nice, I was meek, I didn't say it with a tone. However, you being nice, saying it with a tone, or being meek aren't the things that trigger him. What triggers him is being asked after a certain amount, before a certain amount of time has elapsed. So while your intention is noble, and you're saying that, hey, I'm asking him in a way that shouldn't, the part of that sentence that is silent is I feel shouldn't trigger him, and a lot of the time, or her, excuse me, for whoever it is, and a lot of the time that's just not how it goes. I know that I'm very intentional about not triggering someone that I'm dating, so I make it a concerted effort to learn what it is about my communication style, my default communication style that works for them and what doesn't, because you all know me that I'm a very
I'm like, come on, softer side of Steve.
no, it's not that. I'm definitely
What I'm getting right now anyway. Okay.
I'm going to say exactly, whatever I'm thinking. So I understand that with some people, well, with most women, they're not going to be as thick-skinned as others are.
Yeah,
So because I was raised around thick-skinned women and raised by a thick-skinned man, I can't expect what I'm used to. I can't expect what I'm used to in everyone else. So if I'm going to invest my time and then choose a woman who's going to be under my protection and provision, I'm also responsible for making sure that that I'm protecting and providing her feelings and spirit and her emotional state, regardless of what my intentions are. Because I'll tell like a man, I'm like, hey, whatever I say, I mean, how you take what I say is your problem. Because the only thing that I'm responsible for is the words that I use and then my intent behind those words. You can't apply that to your partner because how they feel and take what you say can quite literally be your problem. So
I love that you said investing your time, if you can. Speaking about investing your time, if you appreciating how much we're investing our time, especially this is the bonus episode, feel free to use the information at the bottom of the screen to share your love offerings. We will not be extending the show today as this is an overtime minutes show, and we are capping it at 3 hours precisely, not 1 minute over, 1 minute under. But if you in the audience are loving what these men, Ruben especially, is giving, feel free to pay me via Zelle or Cash App and show a little love. That being said, back to our regularly scheduled program.
But
back to you, Sean.
Yeah, Willie, one thing you said in the beginning really hit me, and that's that I or we as women can think that we are delivering information, our concerns, our feelings in a way that should be received well by you. But everybody's different. I know my person a lot says, I'll say, well, I would never do this or that, or I'd never say this to you like that, or I'd never do that. And what he says to me all the time, and it used to piss me off. I'd be like, bro, it could be me. But like, I really had to get it. He says to me, I'm not you. So when we go back to at the beginning, maybe before you joined, Willie, for sure, Ruben, before you joined, same thing with you, Greg, Mont, you remember we were talking about how we deliver information and how it's received, and the topic of this being men like women and not us understanding each other. Like, if you understand your partner, like my partner, he's going to say it how it is. And I'd be like, wow, that was crazy that you said that. And somebody probably on the outside would look in and be like, you don't let him talk to you like that. But that's how he delivers. And I understand that. And I think that's where we get into the issue, is that we don't let our person be who they are. Yeah, you should try to be tactful, and you want, you can't, serve something to someone in a way that's not going to yield the best result for what you want. But it really is about, it has to work for you. So I can't say it how I would say it. And I think, because this is how you would give it to me, that you should be good with it. No, I have to figure out how you like to receive it. We're both going to be on a win-win. You've heard it, you've received it, and it feels good to you, not just how I would want. So I thought that was really important, that you recognize that it's not about how you would want it. It's about how your person would want it. And I think everybody wins.
I think that to the point, Greg, you guys say something? Because you were muted, so I couldn't tell if you were trying to say something.
Yeah, my fault. I was going to say there is a difference between taking in information and solving a problem. Like if my woman comes to me and she just wants to be heard, it doesn't necessarily require me having to solve a problem or fix anything. She just want to be heard in that moment. So I think going back to choosing your battles is recognizing when there's a need to solve a problem and when there's a need to just letting the person just vent and just get whatever it is off their chest.
I like what Ruben, formerly known as Jacob, said too about it takes time. And I think that if people had the perception that the first couple of years of a relationship are going to be work, not work, I'm not getting paid and I hate my job, but more like a rewarding career. Like, I love what I do. I would never want to go back to corporate America, but it's work. Sean will tell you, like, I have barely seen her because I put in blood, sweat, and tears into what I do. And so the same way a relationship is a lot of work. And so if we can get rid of this idea that if we never have serious conversations, that's a healthy sign. Somebody actually put, if you're not having arguments with your person, that's a sign of a very unhealthy relationship, because you kind of have two different people, two different backgrounds, two different perspectives, two different life goals, whatever, not have conflict. That's natural. That means one person is just co-signing everything, trying to be a yes man. Not saying we should be fighting, but there should be some sort of, not should, but it's just natural, basically. So I think that conflict avoidant person freaks out and goes, oh no, our relationship is in danger because we've been having these talks. Just like some people think it's a bad thing to go to the doctor, versus someone like me or Kaylee or Sean might be like, no, we do this to prevent being wheeled into the doctor. I'm going to I'm willingly going to the doctor tomorrow to check my hormone levels, make sure my vitamin D is back up because I was deficient for a while, make sure, I don't have any moles that need, preventative. I don't want to wait until there's a growth that's halfway across my back and they're like, man, you're stage whatever. So I think that's the difference between the conflict avoidant and the conflict diver inner. Welcome to the show, Kaylee. It is so good to have you back.
Hello, thank you so much.
I love how we bully people in the comments till they get back on stage.
Let me go back to the topic, because I missed the top of the hour, so maybe I missed this. But if you don't have that mindset, maybe you don't like people, maybe you don't like women, and you don't want to be in a relationship. If your attitude is my way or the highway, thou shalt do as I say, just shut up, look cute, whatever it is, maybe you don't like. If you're communicating that way, maybe you don't want a partner. Well, let me just be blunt. You communicate you don't want a partner. You don't want to be with somebody.
Yeah.
You just want something for the night or something. Well, go ahead, pay for that and move on. But if you want a relationship,
$40 in the dresser. Yeah.
You want a relationship, at some point you got to act like you want a relationship. And I think some people either don't do that or don't know how to do that. And I think that's something you got to learn. When I first started dating, I had to learn how to date. A dating coach told me, you got to date more. And I didn't want that advice. I told him, I'm going to give you some money and I'm going to give you a list. I'm going to go find it and just do it. I don't want to date. I don't want to go nowhere with anybody. I don't like people like that. These women getting on my nerves. Please take this money. Here's a picture. Here's a list. Find this and bring it back. And she got like, nah, that's not how it works. You kind of date and then you figure out what you like and you don't like. I do think some men don't like women. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
Every woman's a problem. Every woman's overweight. Every woman does this. Every woman does everything that they hate. And I think there's some women like that. So every guy is trying to get at them and just mistreat them. There's no self-reflection. Every guy sucks. Every guy, not some guys, every guy has a problem with, and it's just if the men would just be better and be more like Willie, they would all be married. But it's just like, the world doesn't work that way, and for some reason, nobody wants to do the work. Everybody just wants it to work. I just don't know how that works.
Or like you said, or they don't even know that it's not working. That's what I'm saying. Like, they think their way is working. And so, Sean and I had this conversation, and I have to tell a story very delicately because I'm not in any way making fun. But we went to a drive-through, and the gentleman who was helping field orders, it was kind of like Chick-fil-A, how they have two lines. He had a severe physical handicap that made it difficult to move back and forth. And I was equating, and I said, what'd you say, Jacob?
This is shout. I didn't say nothing about y'all made fun of the dude with the handicap.
I literally said, I didn't make fun of him. So, but the thing is, I said, if he wasn't moving quickly, jumping from car to car, it would never occur to us to be annoyed with him. We would never. We're marveling that he's even doing as well as he's doing because we can physically see that he has he's disabled. But for people who are handicapped when it comes to emotional intelligence, it's easy to expect that they would do better. And it would be like looking at a toddler who's drooling on himself and urinating in a diaper and asking him why he's not writing a thesis paper on a collegiate level. And I think that's what's happening with some people with emotional intelligence. All they know is what they're perceiving and what they're feeling, and whatever first feeling arises, they think it's truth. So like for you in your example, Jacob, when your therapist said the first line, your initial feeling was F you, like, I don't like what you said. But then the mature part of you said, I'm going to stick around and at least hear him out and have an open mind. And then at some point it resonated and then you had the breakthrough. But somebody who isn't even that far along would stay at the first feeling of this is pissing me off. They would write him off and the therapist would never be seen from again. So I think it's important to realize like some people don't have those tools and they make for a very painful relationship. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's where the therapy needs to come in, because there's a lot of people that are in relationships functioning.
And then gaslight you.
Yeah. And they don't understand or recognize their part in it, or that they have a problem, or in some cases that they are the problem. They'll perceive that their partner is the problem, or in some place like, you know, the woman's the problem. And then like, really, what can you do with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm curious.
Can I ask the question though? I'm curious to know the context of where this question even came from, I guess.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's good.
Were you on the panel a couple weeks ago when it ended up delving into, do y'all even like women? Were you there for that one?
I don't recall. But
I don't think you were. So I was having this moment where I was just kind of feeling a bit in my feelings. And I think it was just like one story after the other, or one comment after the other, just in what I would think is disparaging of women. And I'm like, man, I feel like every time we come on, it's like, it just, the image I get of women is like, they're stupid, they're this, they're that, they're emotional, blah, blah, blah. So I just was like, do y'all even like women? And it turned into this whole discussion. Were you watching that one, Kaylee? I feel like you might have been watching that one. I was like very passionate that night. And I was just explaining like, I really do wonder this. So then I started to dive in because it reminded me today, the video, and I showed it. There's a video that I just showed. You could go back and watch it after, but it was contrasting when the boys want to do something and his girl wants to do the exact same thing, and how he's super down with the boys, but with the girl, it's an attitude, it's a problem, it's whatever. It's like the double standards. So a lot of guys seem like they are so annoyed, so whatever with their woman, but the woman's just being a woman. She's not being a crazy woman. She's just being a feminine woman. So that's
there's a difference between a man or even a woman making a complaint than going to the edge and just saying they don't like a particular sex for whatever reason. Like, I just think that's, unless you're, you know, gay or whatever your sexual preference is. But for the most part, if you are, you know, into women, I would think the majority of men like women. Like, that's why it just sounds crazy.
So we use the terminology there's a difference between wanting a woman and liking. So for example, if I'm not a lesbian, I couldn't have a relationship with a woman because that's not my sexual orientation. But do I think that a woman could probably meet my non-physical needs? Hell yeah. Like literally, like we were in tune. We could all, if me, Kaylee, and Sean went somewhere and something happened, we wouldn't even have to speak. We'd be like, we would know. We would all know. We think that's messed up, or oh my God, that's so sweet. We all would have the same energy. Versus the guy, we might have to explain the reason why she's pissed is because did you see how and we'd have to break it down. So I think that there's a lot of comfort. Well, we kind of came to this conclusion. There's a lot of comfort in your same gender because you guys already know each other. What's understood doesn't need to be said. You guys said in the poll, which is what sparked it, in the poll that I asked on Yonsper Nation, a lot of guys said, because when I'm with my guys, I don't have to perform. I can let it all hang out. No one is questioning and thinking it through. Like Willie said, my guy friends, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to mean what I'm going to mean. If he takes it away, I can just tell you what I meant. And so it comes across like they're tolerating the opposite sex because that's what's needed for procreation and physical intimacy. So we're not talking about sexual orientation and being on the down low, which is what I did a disclaimer. We're not talking about that. But we're saying if you have the choice of spending a week with no contact with anyone else, would you rather hang out with a dude as a dude, or would you rather hang out with a chick? And most guys would probably chuckle and say a dude.
No, they're gay. They do say that.
But you see, a lot of the men on the panel are a bit more mature, but by their actions, a lot of guys have bromances. They want to hang out with the guys. They want to go on guy trips. They want to, be in the group chat with the guys. But if a woman asks, I'll show you the video again, because this is what and a lot of people in the comments were saying they see this all the time. Okay.
All right, love you, boy. Love you too. Love you, boy. Love you too. Y'all be safe. Let me know when you go.
All right, babe, I'm finna leave. Love you.
Love you too.
You're not gonna give me a hug?
Oh, damn, man, I'm playing the game. Shit. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Damn. Oh, shit. Hello?
I miss you.
Miss you too.
What you doing right now? You busy?
Yeah, I'm with the guys right now.
What time you coming home?
Shit, I don't even know, but I'm gonna call you back, all right?
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Shit, she annoying as hell, man. Oh, shit, my dog. Yo!
We miss you, boy.
Miss our boys too. What y'all been on?
Nothing for real. What you doing right now? You busy?
Yeah, no, I ain't busy. I'm chilling with my girl.
Pull up to the house. We finna watch the game.
I better for the be on the way.
So it's just forget about me, huh?
Damn, babe, I've been with you all day. Is it a crime to hang out with the boys for a little bit? I'll be back later tonight. Relax. Shit.
So
here's my problem with skits. They usually go way to the extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, have you guys experienced that before at all?
Yes.
Have I experienced it?
I guess the women.
I'm not trying to lay up with a Black Panther Party member in 2025 either. So
I'm done. I am done. That's crazy. Kevin in the comments, not on the show. Hey, Kev, welcome to the show. Yeah. So this is the thing. I feel like a lot of times when we have videos, even if it's satire, there's always usually disbelief that it's that bad. But the reality is there's so many times where girls say, I'm jealous of my guy friends, because the energy that they give each other is so intense. Not homo at all. Just it's intense. They're excited. They have way more fun. But then when it comes to us, it's like, So to answer your question, I have absolutely seen that happen. And so, I think it's strong. I want to see in the comments that people can relate.
Well, you can't necessarily you gotta understand that, like, your partner could have been in a relationship with somebody else where they acted completely different than they act with you. Right? Different people bring out different things in us. You might get the calm version of your partner. Somebody else could have got the rowdy version. So, I think that might play a part in general. Just like, you might be upset watching an old video of how you used to react with another girl. You be like,
but if
it's
around me. But if when you and I, let's say we're together, you and I hang out and it's just like, hey, how's the weather? And then Willie comes over and you guys like, and just, I went to Kiki, I didn't know it was Kiki, but y'all are laughing and joking and cracking. Like, it's a completely different energy.
It's a completely different relationship.
That's true.
And we're trying to get to the bottom of why. What is it that makes that relationship
easy? The same thing that makes it easier for you to talk to your cousin or a female friend than it does you talk to one of your male friends. Me and Mont can talk to things about we can talk about most things because we go through the same things. We've had conversations about tax accountants. That's not something I'm gonna talk to my woman about. We talk about man stuff with man people. And it's kind of like, look at it this way. I just take it from being a different sex to being a different race. You know how much more comfortable it is for like a black guy to walk into a room full of black people than it is white people? It's the exact same thing about a man being with his boys and his girl, because we are with people that we have a longer history with 9 times out of 10. Like, I've known my friend since I was 2. Like, since I was 2 years old, I've known my friend. So for my woman to expect me to respond to her differently and in the same way I do them, it's not realistic, because the same way that I respond to them with that different man energy, I respond to her with loving energy. I don't do that to my boys. Okay. Like, at the end of the day, I eat her ass. I don't eat theirs. So like,
you too.
Like, what are we
You
doing?
too.
My bad. But you see my point though. Like, it's different roles that people serve in a man's life. And if you want your man to be with you like you're one of his boys, then become a stud and be one of his boys.
So here's the difference, and I appreciate you saying that. I will speak from my personal experience from guys who I've dated like that. I don't need the exact same energy. I don't want to chest bump you and call each other N-word, whatever. Like, I don't need it to be the same. But I want you to have enthusiasm when you deal with me. If you make time for them, I want you to make time for me. I had a guy when we would hang out and do an event or whatever, he would be off just hosting everybody, life of the party, talking to everybody, not even looking. And I'm like, you do realize your girlfriend here, right? Like, just completely would not be on his mind. And so, you know, and if they go on trips, it's like planning all this stuff and doing whatever. I think that you need to have some sort of a exciting, loving, something like you said, if there's loving, that's cool. If you loving on me and you're giving me affection and you're doting and all that, I don't care if you have a different relationship with your friend. But if it feels like you're putting more energy into that relationship and you seem like you're more fired up by that relationship, even though you're not fired up for the same reasons, if they can evoke a level 10 response out of you, I would hope I can evoke a level 10 out of you. With my cousin and me, my meter's hitting 10. I'm excited, but I'm excited for different reasons. If my man comes around, I'm hitting level 10 out of everyone else, but it's for different reasons. But both of them are going to get level 10 for different reasons.
Oh, you just got to date a guy that actually likes you then at that point.
Boom. Mic drop.
That's it. Because, I mean, if a dude is putting more time into his homeboys than he is you, and he's not sleeping with none of his homeboys secretly, you know, we got to take Atlanta into consideration. You got to be real careful about just not accepting the fact that he just don't like you like that. Yeah. Like, you're around to serve whatever purpose that you serve in his life, which is probably a domestic, feminine companion and vaginal access. His boys, he gets everything else that he enjoys in life from. So I don't see a problem with that either, though. As a man, I do not want my woman coming to me with that high strung girlfriend energy, like Cocker Spaniel stuff. She can keep that with them. That's not something that I enjoy. I don't want to be around that. So if she wants that energy, like gossiping about Love Island or whatever show she's watching, you do that with your girls. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, if any one of my homies want to hang out with me more than their wife and kids,
yeah,
I just
the kids are different. We talk about wife. Yeah. Kids is different because your wife shouldn't even expect the same energy you give your kids. I'm not trying to know again. A guy who puts his boys above his girl, that's one thing. And putting his boys above his kids is a completely different one.
But check this here.
Another thing to like consider, and I hear guys say this a lot. This is something that I appreciate in my relationship. Like, my dude is my homie. That's my best friend. Like, when we get together and we hang out, you know what I mean? Like, we are laughing, we are joking, we looking at other girls' booties. Like, that's my dog. And I think sometimes what happens in relationships is there can be so much stress and, things that are going on that it can kind of make you feel like, yo,
I need to escape.
I just need like a little breaky break. Like, it'll cause you to like go make an extra errand, like all those things. So I think sometimes it can have to do with the stature of the relationship. And I think when you have fun with your person, when you don't have to stress with your person, the difference between hanging out with the guys, I would think, because I'm not a guy, but I could imagine that like y'all ain't got to. This dude ain't worried about what you said, how you said it, when you said it, what you ate, what you did.
You forgot to bring food for the event.
None of that stuff. There's no pressure there. It's easy, so you look forward to it. But when you are with a person that you have to kind of think and be in your head all the time, and you can't just chill and kick it like that's your homie. And guys say that all the time, like, I want somebody who can be my friend first. I hear that all the time. And I think there's truth in that. I think women, we want that too, but we kind of get caught up in all the other, emotional stuff. And then maybe we trip out a little bit. I'll say that, you know what I mean? But I think it does have to do with the relationship and the dynamic. And I hope that my person will look forward to me, because when we're going to go out to the movies, like, we're going to take a roadie and we're going to, like, you know what I mean? We're going to have fun, and like, we're going to eat whatever we want, like, do whatever. So I think the relationship dynamic probably has a lot to do with it too. And if he finds her annoying or like nagging, bro, out of here. The homies is coming over. I'll see you later. I mean, is there truth in that?
But so wait a minute. So I want to go back to something Willie said. He said, like, you want somebody's excited to see. So most guys, when they approach a girl, they're excited to see her. They saw something that excited them. They approached her. Question is how do you keep that going? You got to do something other than show up hungry and want an event. I think
as a woman.
As a woman,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They speak to guys like that's a different subject. I don't date men, but what I find a lot of women don't do is learn how to keep the excitement and the interest. You got to learn how to be his friend, whatever that means to him, and that takes this whole conversation, learning, and you got to put in some work. I do think because most men, not all the time, but a man sees a woman, he's generally excited. Like, oh snap, she's beautiful, she's attractive. He steps to her, and that excitement kind of stays a minute. How do you keep that going? I do think a lot of women don't know how to keep that going, and it's worse as they age. This age, I am finding a lot of women don't know how to do that, and which is why many of them are single and complaining about what men don't do because they don't know how to get men to. They don't. A guy's coming in interested. He doesn't approach you unless he's interested in something,
right?
But you don't know how to keep that interest. You got to do.
Flip side, the other end of the spectrum. Yep. So you have a woman who's not bringing anything to the table that would excite him or keep that interest up, or she was saying is draining from him. Absolutely. But then you can also have on the other side the guy who does what he can do to get her. And then once he gets her, doesn't maintain that relationship. So let's say, for example, he's on podcasts every single day of the week. And in the beginning, he was spending that time with her on the couch, canoodling. He used to take her out to eat. And now they're just sitting around the house, cooking. But they started out like going to different places and exploring different restaurants. He used to be creative and be like, hey, I found this new place. Let's go check it out. He used to ask her about her day. So some men start off with an energy that they can't maintain. And then when the woman says, hey, baby, it's been like 6 months since we've gone anywhere new. I really liked it when you used to take me out. It's here we go again, and that's why I say you have the defensive person who can't.
That guy don't like his girl.
Yeah.
That's why. But I think it's either that or that person is emotionally. No, I would say emotionally unintelligent. And I'll tell myself, I was that person in my marriage. I was super into my person, but I didn't have the emotional capacity to hear criticism and not be defensive. When I heard criticism, I heard you suck at life. When all he was saying was, hey, every time you step, you're stepping on my shoe. I heard you're a stupid idiot. So I would defend. I'm not stepping on your shoe. And obviously it's a metaphor. I'm not stepping on your shoe. And that is draining for the person to have to keep saying, no, you are stepping on my shoe. And then I'm showing you the shoe. See all these shoe marks? That's you. I was a defensive person. So it had nothing to do with my level of life. It was the maturity in myself. But I only got out of that when I actually saw him stop and shut down. And I prayed and I chose to have an open mind. How Jacob had clarity in his therapy session, I went and prayed specifically. God, I know this person is either making this up 100% or I truly can't see it. So if it's that I can't see it, will you open my eyes? And it was an instant no. It was crazy. It was like a spiritual awakening. And from then on, I have been a different person. And I said, God, if you allow me to get love again, I'm going to take everything in my power to learn to become better and to be more emotionally intelligent. But that person back then was a nightmare because I was so insecure. Any negative feedback, I was defensive. Down to the whole example I gave about going around with friends and forgetting you have a person. My ex-husband literally said to me, you got a husband and 2 kids here, just so you don't forget. Because I was a social butterfly and I wanted to go say out on my friends. And and of course, I was defensive about that. Well, I just wanted to see them. I haven't seen them. So I've seen both sides so that I know that it's more multifaceted than you just don't like the person or you're gay. I think there are really people who don't have tools yet. They haven't developed. They don't have a toolbox. What were you going to say?
Another thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are just unhappy in life, and when they get into a relationship, you now they feel comfortable enough with you seeing that every day that they can come home and let you get the worst of them and that depressed self and all that type of stuff. But as soon as they go out, or they see they see some people at work, they want to put on a white voice, or they want to put on they they want to do all of that.
Yeah.
So that could be a little that could be a thing too. A lot of people are unhappy with themselves, and they're just extremely comfortable with you seeing that part of them.
That they stop performing with you.
They stop performing with you, and they perform with everybody else.
Wow, that is deep. That's actually, I feel like one of those moments where like, let it sink in.
It's like being home with your siblings, and like you pretty much stink, and you don't care if they care, if they know you stink. But if you about to go outside, you want to take a shower.
It's like a fine line with being comfortable versus too comfortable, because we were talking about, remember I put that side by side up of I forget who it was, not Regina, whoever. One, she was all dolled up, and one, she looked like the Help from The Help. And they said going out with your girls versus going out with your man. It's kind of like that. Like, I have to try to figure out where's the fine line between being realistically comfortable at my home, and then, you know, obviously I'm not going to walk around with 4-inch heels and a full beat. Not that he would ever want a full beat, but I'm just saying there's a line. But you also could go too far where you're slovenly, like you look like a bum, your sweatpants have a stain on it, your ponytail is askew. You know what I mean? Like I think there's a fine line between letting it all hang out and still being there for your person and like tending to their needs. But once my company goes home, I'm like, oh. It's like taking your bra off emotionally. I don't know if you remember what you were going to say, Caleb, but you look like you're about to say something earlier, and there was a little.
Is Willie raising his hand?
I am.
Willie, we pick you, Mr. Beeman.
I have a question, just so I can understand the context. What is a full beat?
Oh, it's where a woman goes into a full transformation via makeup.
Oh, when y'all put the makeup helmet on. That's cool.
Like two different people.
Where your face and your face and your neck are two different colors.
Oh my God. They don't know what they're doing. Yes. But the professionals will go all the way down to here. Into the clavicle. Yeah. I don't even know where that term came from. Say her face was beat to the gods. But yeah.
I was just thinking if you got make sure you guys were talking more like, you know, Avon or Sephora and less Ike Turner. That was all. Like,
yes, we are not condoning SA on this channel. So YouTube.
That would be DV. That would be more like DV, not SA.
Some people turns them on.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. Got my acronym.
That's erotic. It turns them on. You know? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You know how much paperwork you need to have before you venture into that space with another woman?
I do not know, sir, and I do not plan to investigate that any further.
You gotta get a blood sample, you got a fingerprint, you gotta get a notary.
I believe him. I'll take him at his word. I don't want to know. Look.
The safe word is Ruben. Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Man, if somebody's safe word is Ruben now, they either got a crush on Jacob or they back as big as hell because they talk about a sandwich.
I was just gonna say, oh, they're hungry.
Your puppy's talking, trying to have.
He's an attention whore.
So, are you going to meet his emotional needs, or are you going to?
No, I'm going to feed him. I'm going to feed him and banish him to his kennel.
Oh, poor little baby. What other ones was I going to put on here? Let's see. There was something that I was trying to remember. It was on the lines of, so I guess if you have an emotionally unintelligent person, let's say if someone watching this, right, she says that you're describing my situation, Sean, to the T. I want to be that whimsy girl who's just like, yay, carefree, whatever. I think that the person can only go so far suppressing their needs before they snap. Because I think a lot of girls, especially on the lower confidence level will abandon themselves and their needs in order to seem like that easy breezy girl. And so this is why I always go back to, you got to be careful who you hitch your wagon to, because you can't be your light, fun, feminine self with someone that you don't trust emotionally, you don't trust physically, you don't trust spiritually, and you don't trust financially. So she could be wanting to be fun all she wants, but if she knows that if you want to go on a trip with the boys, you're going to blow your savings because you forget and you start turning up and go to the casino or whatever. Or physically, let's say, she knows that if you go to the bar or a venue or a club, you might start flirting with other women. So she's not going to feel safe emotionally. Like if a woman doesn't feel safe, she's not going to be easy breezy. So my big thing is, because I like to address both ends of the spectrum, if you want your girl to be more chill, find out what her need is. And there was something, I think I might have shared this in the last episode, something that I found so interesting and so helpful is when you're having a discussion with your person and it goes from being like easy breezy conversation, doesn't seem like there's tension, to suddenly, you guys all know what it feels like. Body language shifts, tone starts to change, arms start getting crossed, a little sarcasm comes in. When you notice that, she was saying that this means the person doesn't feel like they are raising your voice means they don't feel like they're being heard. But also with people who don't have emotional intelligence, when they start doing a bunch of other things, there's something that they are feeling, but they can't articulate it. So someone else might say, I didn't appreciate that. It didn't feel good. I felt like that was dismissive, or I felt like that was condescending, or I feel emasculated. Somebody who doesn't have those tools, like I said, they don't even have a tool belt. They're just going to throw up their dukes. And so I think anyone watching this, if you're not in a relationship yet, you guys have not locked it down, you have not committed, these are not small things to play with. It will get bigger and bigger and snowball, and time is not going to make it better. Unless that person says, I'm gonna be like Jacob and go to therapy, I'm gonna be like Mont and Deja and go to therapy and really listen, it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse. And then the person who is a good communicator is going to get gaslit into thinking that they're just a troublemaker, as opposed to just trying to have healthy conversations. So we are at the hour and 47 mark, almost to the 2-hour mark. We're doing 3 because Willie last time extended, which you're not even allowed to do. He extended an extension show.
Who said he's not allowed to do it?
It's in the fine print. It's like 3 font. You didn't see it in the paperwork you guys didn't sign?
I don't recall that.
I read everything that I sign. And I have never signed anything that said that I couldn't do an extension on any show. Yeah. So I'm going to need you to have your HR department send that over to my HR department forthwith, ma'am.
Forthwith, right? Sean, could you please?
Yeah, I'm gonna need that by close of business this week. Otherwise,
I am done. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little exercise. We have 3 ladies on the panel and 4 men on the panel, and then y'all in the comments, you can say your gender if your name isn't really obvious, and then you can chime in on the comments too. But I would like to hear one at minimum. You can give more than one, but one thing that you think it would be more fun if the opposite sex was like your sex. So, for example, as women, we could say it would be nice if men were more expressive.
This is about to go left.
Yeah,
this is about to go left.
To the left, to the left.
Yeah.
So I am going to, I'm going to do a circle like this. I'm going to start with Greg because he's the first one that caught my eye. We're going to go Greg, Jacob, aka Ruben, Willie, Mont, Sean, and then we'll close with Kaylee, and then I'll add my 2 cents. Okay. Do you need a second, Greg? This is something that an attribute that tends to be masculine, that it would be dope if more women were like this. No. Oh, thank you, Lynette. We got our first love offering. You know what that's from, right?
Yeah. Close them doors.
I just want to make sure.
Ushers, close the doors.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. Thank you. What did you say, Greg?
I want to make sure I heard the question right.
So, what attribute that tends to be attributed to men or masculine would it be nice if women had more of that? That would make it just easier. Like you guys are saying, it's obviously more comfortable if you're with the same talking to the same gender, or you're talking to someone with the same racial or ethnic background. It's just easier because you have more familiarity, more in common. So what thing does make men get along easily because they tend to naturally be this way, that it would be cool if women were naturally that way? Does that make sense?
It's gonna be easy.
Yeah,
Was that Mom laughing?
No, that was me. My bad.
Oh, you sound like Mom for some reason. Okay.
yeah, I ain't got nothing for you. I don't think there's anything that I would change about women, or that I think my masculine friends do that I would want women to do.
Like that.
Moment of silence. That's so sweet.
I got an extra one for Greg then.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and share, Willie.
I wish women could come as fast as men do.
Oh.
Because I think that would be amazing for women, since women swear they don't come during sex majority of the time anyway.
Oh, that would be a thing for us. That's actually really generous, Willie.
The next one's not.
Well, we'll let that one be Greg, since he's always really sweet.
Yeah, give Greg the sweet one. The second one is I wish women would use the words that as they actually are intended and for what they mean, and not just all willy-nilly to fit whatever their current emotional state or intended message is.
So you experience that a lot with women?
Every day that I've been alive, I believe.
I'm sorry that you've experienced
that. I'm sorry.
I'm a big fan of people saying what you mean. What pisses me off when someone says, you said this. I was actually almost said this.
So you basically need a black and white woman that tells you, what she wants. Is that what you're saying?
No, I want you to use words and not for these custom definitions of what they are.
Yeah. See, this is my thing. If someone says, Willie, you just said women lie, right? If I said that to you and I was dead serious and you're like, no, I didn't say that. Well, basically what you said. And then you try to, no, there's an actual definition for the word lie. It means to not tell the truth. I am anal like that. And I cannot stand when someone says, you said something. Then when I rebut it and say, I never said that, you say, well, you basically said it. No, because if I wanted to say that, I would have said that. Is that what you're saying, Willie? Because that's what I feel.
That is one of the reasons why we get along so well. Ooh. Because that shit makes my ass itch. There's nothing a woman can do aside from like giving away vagina that's supposed to be mine that will turn me off about her than her just making up words. And so basically what you're saying, and then everything that she just said that I said has nothing to do with what I just said. And it's like, I don't use big words when I talk to people who I am not sure that they're intelligent. So I just talk to them like they're a fifth grader. So if you still get that wrong, the frustration that I have, I keep internal. I block people. That's what'll get me to block you on social media. Not being a weirdo or a creep or sending me unsolicited nudes. Having a conversation and you do that, it's over.
Yeah, it's exasperating. Don't attack my character and then you're not even factual. Welcome to the show, Brad. Good to see you. I don't know if we're going to get to see you on the panel, but good to see you in the comments. He said, I wish women were more disciplined on how they move and not move strictly on how they feel. I'm going to take ownership and full accountability on this one. I was just telling my cousin the other day, I wish I wasn't so swayed by my emotions. I've gotten way better. Like in the last 2 years, drastic. I would say I went from like a D- to a good B-, maybe C+. But it's like someone tosses you into the ocean and you're in a riptide, which I've actually been in a real riptide. It's like that, and then it's trying to stand straight. It's really hard as a woman when you are just overwhelmed by emotions to still be like, but I'm going to do this. So I get that. I co-sign it. I also wish that was something that was easier for us to compartmentalize and be like, I'm raging, I'm hurt, I don't feel safe, but I'm going to still keep my tone calm. Thank you for that one. Okay, we are going to go next to, what is your name? Ruben?
Wow.
I mean,
love.
Different. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take a different direction. So when the fellas get together, maybe this is different. We snap on each other sometimes. I wish women would be more accepting of that. Like we'll
a big snap on
each other in a playful way.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that with women. You say something.
No, because some people go too far. You hit that one spot. Look, you be like, I didn't know you were sensitive about the size of your nose. That okay? We gonna talk about everything but your nose.
No, you snap first, but
Look, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Talk about your little dingling, and all of a sudden it's a problem. Just kidding.
I didn't say that.
I'm joking. That a man would not be okay with that.
I got to meet Sean's partner. I got to meet him. He needs to come on the panel. I got to meet him now. I'm intrigued.
Oh my God.
No.
I feel like Lynette could definitely snap back. She's pretty consistent.
Why is Lynette not on the panel? Hold on.
You see all the panel members in the comments tonight. It's wild.
Yep.
Y'all, my cough got so bad I had to grab on antibiotics. I'm still coughing like a month later. Yep, she just said it. I don't have that issue. I knew it. Okay, so there was a comment. The N1406. Remind me your name because I don't remember. She said, obviously, Willie can want what he wants, but I don't think that quickly is a benefit to me as a woman. I think that I would like the option to if I wanted to, but if you wanted a longer conversation. What'd you say?
That's so entitled. You know, like right now, women typically have the option to want to work or to not work. Men don't have that option. Like I can't go find me a husband or nothing like that. Y'all got options already. But like that girl is lucky she gets to come in at all. That girl, she's lucky. No, because God didn't want y'all to come. The Lord did not want y'all to come. Because if the Lord wanted y'all to come, He wouldn't make us come in 2 minutes. That don't even add up. It don't add up.
No, did you just see it? Sorry.
It don't add up. It makes no sense. Obviously, He didn't want y'all to come.
Are we allowed to say
so she lucky we even take the time to slow our nuts down for 35 minutes.
Got your wish.
You just spoke it into existence. Who just tuned into the show right now? But her man.
My man has entered the chat.
Listen,
welcome to the show, sir.
We slow our nuts down for an extra 40 minutes. Y'all need to be thanking us.
Hold on, wait a minute.
He said we're lucky that we could get.
I'm not. His point is that it's not required for y'all to come in order to reproduce, which is the purpose of sex.
I know.
So anytime that you are able to bust a nut, it's like you're welcome.
Privilege.
Good night.
I'm gonna
imagine us going to eat food, right? And I'm done in 5 minutes, and it's going to take you another 55. But I sit there and wait with you anyway. That's courteous, right?
I hate waiting for people to eat. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
His example is spot on. That we got to sit there and wait, and not only do we have to sit there and wait with you, we got to go back in the kitchen and cook and do the work to make your food.
Well, let's flip the story. Let's flip the story around. Let's just say you want to eat. Have you ever seen that trend where a person stands here like this and they have the other person stand behind and put their hands like this? Anyone seen that trend?
Mm-hmm.
And the person says, "Oh, my glasses are slipping," and the other person's like,
I'm done.
"Do you see where I'm going with this stuff? Do you see where I'm going with this stuff? Is it really a benefit if you're like the glasses are slipping? No.
Wait, is his hand being too short to reach your glasses a correlation to his male private parts being too short to reach your inner workings?
He's taking this topic, and I don't even know where we are.
Yeah, and I don't like Lynette's tone in the comments. Lynette, I don't like your tone, young lady.
Lynette, if your man allows you to come on tonight, I think you need to at least for 10 minutes. We're not going marathon. We're only going until 11 your time, okay? He said that little light skin joint in the white, though. Ooh, you like what you see? I might slide you her number. Should we give? No, he's too shy. Huh? He won't come on. We'll give you the link if you want to join, sir.
Oh yeah, you could be the first couple on the show. I mean, aside from
second. Ew.
That's intolerant.
Well, I mean, aside from you.
Monty's gone. Oh, okay.
It's your show.
Yancy and couples.
Yancy and friends.
It's Yancy and friends was Yancy and couples. Oh my God, y'all gonna be joking because I'm laughing. Okay. Whew. So yeah, I think it can kind of go. And I told you my tissues run out. Oh God. Don't make me laugh, y'all. Make me cough and run a nose.
Vomit.
Yeah, so I've actually thought about that. What an interesting dynamic. And also a lot of times women want slow, sensual, and take your time. Let's relish it. And a lot of times you hear guys talking about, let's get to it, let's go. And then you have after the woman wants to cuddle and canoodle and pillow talk, and he's just like, I feel better now. I'm gonna go to sleep. So it's almost like, God, why did you make us so?
Let me ask a question, and I'm just interested. I want to hear the responses. Is it better
This preface,
the build up and the color, or do you like it when you get a good one off? Which is better? If you had a choice to pick one or the other,
no question. I've said this many times. I would take an amazing 15, 20, 30-minute session where it was just pleasure over that one moment.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
A lot of other girls don't agree.
I'm listening. Sean I ain't heard her say anything.
Could you repeat the question?
Y'all sound grateful. Y'all sound like grateful women.
You think I sound ungrateful?
No, y'all sound grateful.
Oh,
expound on that. Why?
A lot of women are ungrateful, you know.
Because here's the thing.
I've been in situations where girls have cried because it's like it's been 15, 20 minutes. You're fine. You're good over it.
Here's the thing. So obviously there are items on the market if you are solo in your activity, right?
The
And
rose.
if it's an adequate product, 30 seconds or less out of there, right?
I have one upstairs.
Well, there you go. That is less desirable I can only speak my truth. That is less desirable for me because what makes it special is the experience. So if there was a situation where I couldn't have both, I would choose the intimacy. I want to be held. I want to be caressed. I want to feel like I'm just basking in. It's nothing but you and me pouring into each other. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, that is my truth. If a woman says that's the priority, and I don't care if he ever strokes my hair, I don't care if he ever kisses me, if he just gets me there, then that's not my testimony, and I can't even imagine.
I would say that's
I really can't even process that.
I'd say that's 95% of women who just, as long as they get their nut, they're cool.
Okay, let's see the comments.
I would like to use the.
Did you call them gangster?
Yeah, they gangsters.
I would appreciate both.
Obviously.
Choose what we would like to have. I mean,
you said if you could only have one or the other, that was the purpose.
I would like to have both.
She's that girl. See, that's entitled. You're making the gender look bad, Sean.
No, if I do have to choose one, I mean, I would really like to have both. But if I did have to choose one, I think that time for us can be a time where we get to feel the closest to you. Mm-hmm. Where we connect in a way that we can't when we're just hanging out, when we're just doing whatever. So I guess, yeah, if I have to choose one, I want to have that moment and that experience. And then I would like for you to make that happen after.
So this is how I phrase it. The intimacy is what makes it special. Yeah. That is a bonus. It's a very appreciated bonus, but it's not the whole thing. I love icing, but I still want the cake. But I don't really want a cake with no icing, but I'm still full with the cake.
Fellas, if you're watching this, what you should take from this is the following. Women, like love languages, women swear they want more than one. And also, if
that was Sean.
Yeah, so that level of entitlement is common. But also, just always remember, if she comes first, she won't care how long it takes you to come. It's pretty safe that way.
You said if she likes you what? I was too busy writing.
If you get her to finish first, she don't care how long it take you after that.
Yeah, definitely keep a rose in handy just in case you don't feel like it.
Yeah, just use it at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If God forbid it didn't happen, you have those options. So even if whatever.
Some dudes don't let their girls use toys.
But
I mean,
he can't
horrible life.
complain if he's not. If he's not getting the job done, I would not think that he has any right to tell her, you cannot have what I'm going to experience.
But that's the thing, though. See, I don't think that any man can keep up with, you know what I'm saying, a rose. That shit vibrates at 9,000 RPM.
No, Willie, but it doesn't matter if he can't keep up. I'm saying if he himself is given the first shot and the second and the third shot, and he's unable, that's unfair to say, I can't do the job, but I don't want you to sublease it out.
Would it be unfair if it was a woman who couldn't do the job, and the man chose to sublease it out?
Yeah.
To another woman.
How do you go from an inanimate object to another human being with a soul?
Because that's what men have. That's the option that men have.
You think
For
we about
example,
to use a fleshlight?
yeah,
That's
no
not socially
man is
acceptable.
using that.
That would be the actual equivalent. A fleshlight would actually be the equivalent of a rose. Like,
No,
what are
because
we talking about
first
here?
of all,
Not
the
when
flesh
you're like,
wait,
around it.
the fleshlights are not the equivalent to a rose.
hand.
Like those things are not equivalent at all. As to the rose, a fleshlight is not the. You still have to work with the fleshlight. So I've heard.
No, they got machine ones now.
Yeah. So, and who's gonna pay for the? You saying the Suckmaster 9,000 when they got a girlfriend?
That's expensive.
You're asking all these questions that are not necessary in a hypothetical question. We are saying if a person cannot get the job done and the person has an actual tool, not another human being,
a woman is a tool.
And emotions and feelings.
She's just a tool. Like that woman would just be a tool for that man.
For the man, but the woman is not. She's a person with emotions.
It's not her.
And you do it too. Why am I even entertaining this conversation?
What was your question?
What if he pays her? Does that remove the emotion?
See, y'all not gonna take me down this trail. Last time y'all had the vein popping out of my neck. They were asking the hypothetical: if your person was offered $1 million to sleep with someone else, would you let them? And I was like, not for $1 billion. And they were like, that's crazy. I would do it. Well,
right.
There was a whole debate on
I gave you the million.
Men think it's different. A man could separate his feelings, and
a woman can too. For $1 billion,
I can't. I can't.
Yancy, love you to death. You're my favorite woman that I'm not related to in the world. Right? That's also not my woman. When I tell you that, if Jesus came down here right now and said, Willie, do you believe in your heart that Yancy would turn down some $1 billion penis that nobody would ever know about?
I'd have to
if
live
you
with
lie to
myself.
me, you're going to hell. I'm sorry. I'm saying that you're taking $1 billion.
But I have to live with myself. Thank you, Falake. I have to live with myself.
Falake don't count. She hasn't had penis for free. We talking about those of us that are experienced.
I'm not one of those people who are dickmatized. I don't lose all.
No, not dickmatized.
Money,
money-matized. It's $1 billion.
Perfect. I'm not a person who's moved my money. I've literally not. I have turned down. Well, let me just leave that. I've turned things down that most people would not. And I'm not influenced by celebrity. I'm not influenced by money, and I'm certainly not influenced by intimacy because I'm on top of my morals and values and whatever. I'm demisexual. So unless I was in love with this, the only way that would work is if I had already developed an emotional attachment. We were in love, and in some alternate universe, I thought biblically it was okay to have two partners, and my person was okay with it. That's the only ultimate universe that would work.
Well, at least you see that. Listen, at first it was just a hard no, and now we got the other universe parts. That makes sense.
But there is no universe in which
what
I'm
if
not
somebody
going to have my
offered,
morals. I'm not going to have my sanctity in my relationship. I'm not going to stop being a demisexual.
What if somebody offered you a spot in heaven?
Huh?
Free and clear.
I'm done.
What if you were offered a spot in heaven? Guaranteed spot in heaven.
That's a good question.
I got you. Come on, girl.
Here's the thing, though. It's not about having a spot in heaven. If we're gonna really break this down, for somebody who's a believer, it's not about having a spot in heaven. It's about when you get to heaven, the Lord says, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter in." Not you found a loophole and a technicality, so you don't slid on.
In is in.
I almost said it again.
In is in.
No, it's not a technicality though.
It is in.
No, to you, it is in.
Wait,
not
wait,
a
real quick.
To you. See,
it's not a technicality. The Lord knows about it.
She said
give her that pass.
Her dude is in the comments. Ask him if he would let her do it for $1 billion.
Okay,
That's
there
a-
we go.
Yeah, he would because he probably likes money.
We'll see. Are you
I'm
still
not-
on, sir?
I wouldn't sacrifice my woman for $1 billion, but the reason is very, very different.
And Monte said he wouldn't sacrifice me, but he sure would be up for the task.
No
Which-
shit. Like
Oh,
we knew
like
that.
I said,
We didn't even ask
obviously
him.
any guy would be happy to. Like, I do it for free. But if you're gonna give me $1 billion,
No, I'm not fucking Oprah for free. But if she said, "Hey, Willie, I'll give you $1 billion,"
Oprah.
wait, Jacob, how did Oprah take a stray?
because she's a billionaire, and she's a black female business
Daniel.
billionaire
Hey, Oprah.
that
Oh,
she
yeah.
didn't get, and she didn't become a billionaire through divorce, so
Billion.
billion.
she's still qualified.
Maybe in trouble.
D'Angelo, could you look the other way for $1 billion? If someone said, I would like to biblically know Sean for an evening, could you look the other way for a Billy? And there's a 2 minute
Cash.
delay, so it's gonna take a second for him to answer.
Yeah, it's straight cash. No
Straight cash.
no
No
like
taxes.
you go to bank and withdraw it. Not
Y'all hush. Just
evaluation. Not
The
evaluation.
cash just comes delivered to your house in a suitcase. But there you go.
Hey,
He
listen,
said, nah, partner.
he said what he's supposed to say. I respect it.
See, and he always will say something.
And
If he
he-
said
I
yes,
res-
if he
I
said yes,
respect it.
that's really what he meant. But if he said no, that means he's
No, no. And if he said yes, that wouldn't be what he really meant. It would just be like what he's supposed to say as well, because you're turning down $1 billion for something that you do for free, which is the thing. Which is my
it's
thing.
not-
partner.
And it's not
yeah.
free.
It's
There's
not-
strings.
It's your partner. It's like if you make the decision on your, like Willie, if I asked you the question, would you do it? And your answer was yes. That's you making a decision for yourself. This is a matter of your partner is going to be intimate with someone else.
You
What
always
price
will know
is
this.
there on that? You know what
Yeah,
I mean? If it doesn't matter, like maybe y'all finna share, then cool, let's fit that thing. But if not, then your integrity and your love for your person and the fact that you wouldn't want to see them with, like, there ain't nothing you could pay me
Come
or
on.
my man to be with anybody.
The
And he
image
knows
in your
how
head, we can even think that that is a case and we'll get mad over the thought that's not even based on any truth. So can you imagine? I'm saying. So can you imagine? Actually, no, that's wrong. Good day, sir.
That's the thing. A lot of people are
Hey.
getting, are taking outside, pain for free, and then you have $1 billion reasons to get over it. I would.
To
I
get
just say
over,
this.
that's like you say,
It's one of those things where like we can never prove it, but like
Willie.
say
Yeah.
I'll give you the I believe you. However, I just
Really?
can't say
We
that.
ended this last time by saying this. Just like you can't wrap your mind around not sharing or being shared. That's like us saying for $1 billion wouldn't be you know what for a day. You wouldn't switch teams for 10 minutes, let alone a day. Just like that's
I'd switch teams for 10 minutes for $1 billion. I'd just be celibate and just walk around with limp wrists.
No,
No,
can't do that.
we're talking about the act. We're saying no.
We're not
biblical-
asking y'all to let us.
No. I'm saying the way that you can't fathom somebody saying no amount of money is worth it. That would be the equivalent of somebody saying about child being predatory with a child.
That's a
or
hard pass.
A heterosexual man being offered something that would require him to be homosexual. Just like you couldn't. There's no way, shape, or form that would ever be okay. That's how the people like us feel. So if you get confused, just think, if someone offered me an amount of money, the answer is still hell no. If someone said all the money would belong to you, there's no more money for anyone else. It just belongs to all the money in the world, all the oxygen, all the water. There's nothing anyone could offer you that would make you homosexual for 10 minutes. And I don't mean mannerisms. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm not taking no back shots for money. That's a hard pass. That's a hard pass. Like, and my gag reflex starts at my teeth, so I know I could never be gay.
and there we go. We could never share.
Oh,
There's
it's not
no
because
way
wait. It's not because of how my woman feels about it. It's because again, my gag reflex starts at my teeth. I can't be gay. It's like physically impossible. Like there is nothing that I could do that would make me be gay successfully, other than like
successfully
be feminine.
He's gay successfully.
Yeah, I can't. I'm a fail. Like I'm not even going to be able to get the money.
for pulling that up because the question was, what do you wish the opposite sex did more like your gender?
Look, we lost Greg. We
Told the
lost
truth.
Haley.
They gone.
Okay, we're gonna
I wish they told the truth.
okay with his fishing line. We're gonna reel him back in.
Started this. You
Y'all
guys
got
the
me
question.
coughing and choking and sputtering.
Mm.
Okay, so Mont, what would you think? What would you ask? What would you pick for the opposite sex to have more of, as far as masculine traits, to be? He's laughing. To be more enjoyable to be around.
Off top, nothing. But let me see if I can think of something.
I'm gonna have to pour me a little something. I drank this whole. No, I'm staying hydrated.
Hey, is Monte at the house right now?
He is.
All right.
Oh no, he's gonna call him. Okay, Sean, I'll pass it to you while Mont is thinking. What would you like a man to be able to do that's more typically aligned with women doing it?
I mean, I know Greg's gone, but I kind of stand with like Greg. Like, I don't want my man to do no like feminine stuff. But if we're thinking in terms of like, just having fun, which I think I actually do have, just like, we like to like just kind of like vent and talk shit. And like, we don't necessarily want somebody to be like, oh, well, yeah, you shouldn't say that. We kind of just want somebody to be like, yeah, she really was tripping. You know what I mean? So I think if anything, it would be just kind of that camaraderie where, you can just with your girlfriend, just like, you're just popping and shit. And, and they go with you and take it there with you. And you just be like, yeah. And then you be like, yeah. Gang, gang.
Mine is expressive, obviously. I would like a guy to not associate communication with anything negative. I would love to be able to take a road trip and not kiki per se, but deep dive. Sean and I could talk for hours and it feels satisfying to our soul. We feel refreshed. Let me speak for myself. I feel refreshed after. Okay. We both feel refreshed. I believe that a man having the exact same conversation would be drained. He'd be thinking, is there a point? Is there a solution? What are we covering? But as women, we find this stuff fascinating. So I think it would be amazing if more men were able to communicate for fun and not strictly, we are trying to make plans so that we can do X. I think that would be really cool. And then also, I have found, and in my research, because I research and look at a lot of the stuff, a lot of men tend to be conflict avoidant and can get very defensive if they hear any feedback from women. So I think it'd be amazing if more men could hear a woman say, hey, this is what I need, as her giving the holy grail and the cheat code to have the best way with her versus you hearing it as, I think you suck and I hate being with you, because that's not what we're saying. We're simply saying, hey, my neck itches here, and you're scratching down here. We're saying, no, it's just right here, and you hear you suck. It would be nice if they heard it in the way that was actually being expressed. Do we give you enough time, Mont, to think of any?
Yeah, I wouldn't change nothing. Yeah, I'm not gay.
And that's the thing. We're not saying they act manly, but each gender has something that they're stronger at. Like feminine tends to be more expressive, masculine tends to be more logical. So if you were to say, I wish women were more logical, that wouldn't make you gay, it would make her manly.
I'm not a believer in God. I'm not one of those, I'm not religious or anything like that. But if there is a God, he made us all exactly what we were supposed to be to live with each other. I don't want to change that.
Amen.
Well, look at that. And there you have it. She's so sick of me. All right, y'all. We have 40 minutes left. Lynette did a love offering. If any of you guys want to be as amazing as Lynette, you can go ahead and do so. You can go through YouTube like she did with a super chat. Or if you want to contribute tax-free, you can use Zelle or Cash App. Thank you so much. All right, so for the next 40 minutes, my goodness, we can have any discussions based on what you guys are interested in discussing in the comments. If you have anything to share, and actually, speaking of the comments, Let me look and see if anybody added something that I forgot to read. I thought somebody chimed in and said their thing. Hold on. Oh, and I like this comment. N1406 says, I heard someone say the difference between fast and slow is beneficial to both because it forces the man to slow down and actually connect. This is an area where efficiency is not the point.
Never mind.
I could have sworn somebody put one of their. Oh, it was Brad. My bad. I did address that. Okay. Any topics you want to get off your chest, good cousin? We're brainstorming in silence.
No, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of topics here. We've gone on the rails and off the rails. And I think we got like a lot of good feedback and perspectives. We started out talking about can you flash
do men
our topic?
Like
do men
women?
even like
Yeah.
women? We talked about maybe part of that is that women don't understand men don't understand women. The women have her feminine, man has his masculine piece. Both should be respected. We've talked about roses and flesh and some of these things. I don't even know what they are.
Fleshlight.
Fleshlight.
Playing off the word flashlight. I look
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to Google that.
And I think if we led from a place of curiosity, Willie,
I invited
you. I invited them the other day to come from a place of curiosity. There was a lady who her husband did something, and instead of saying, you did this wrong, you messed up, she asked for detergent. Apparently, he brought home something completely different. And instead of her being like, why did you bring this home? She said, when you hear detergent, what do you think of? And he said, wash soap, I think he said. And then he thought detergent was like for cleaning dishes or something. I don't know, something like that. But because she asked it in a way of,
hey bro,
what did you?
I need you to send 2 of the strongest lemon drops that you can send upstairs.
Yay!
They have been requested, and I didn't want them to try to get it outsource it from nobody else. So you could technically take her Stanley and just make it full of lemon droppings.
I drank all my water, so I'm hydrated.
So that was for you.
All right, am I gonna just add this to your tab?
Yeah, just add it to the tab. Use it Amex ending in 94685.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Give yourself 100% tip. All right.
Ooh,
right.
Nice, generous.
All right.
Hey, it pays to have an in-house bartender. And I was just telling her last night about his lemon drops. So I was like, oh, hope we have all the supplies.
I'm waiting.
Because I'm trying to think if we have lemon juice, but we'll see. There's always a workaround. Yeah, but coming from a place of curiosity, and this, I'm gonna say this. So often in relationships, I believe that people have a tendency to, without realizing it, assume the worst. I'm really bad with life in general. I assume the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But in relationships, it's crazy that we will meet someone, fall in love because of who they are, but suddenly in an argument think that they are Satan himself. Instead of our brain going, I don't know this person to be this way, so why am I going to assume? We go to this dark place. And I'll use an example with Willie, and I won't be specific at all, Willie. But there was a situation where I had a conversation with Willie, and because of my past experiences with people who are sensitive, I thought it might have gone off the rails and could have gone left. And he was like, okay. And I was like, we just spent 20 minutes with me being shook because I was just like, I thought I was going to go crazy. And because he handled it so maturely, emotionally. But a lot of people don't just go off of the words, they assign meaning to it. Well, she meant this when she called, and this is what she really did. And then I'm going to rebut, and it turns into this extra unnecessary stuff. And I don't say this much, but if everybody could be more like Willie in that instance, I'm just kidding. I just feel
what you did there. See what you did there.
A little shade, a little humor. Oh, Ruben has to go. Oh, we excuse it. That's a very good reason to have to go. Please tell her we said hello, if she even knows who we are. Okay. But yeah, I just think that if we took a moment and even if we were confused about their motivation, instead of saying, you did this because you're a bad cousin, say, hey, cousin, why did you is there a reason you did it this way? And I think 99% of the issues would be resolved, because if you ask and not assume, they say if you assume, you make a you know what.
An ass out of you and me.
I don't know. Everybody across America hears all these little catchphrases that we learned in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like, but we all heard that phrase. But yeah, I hate that. If I am dealing with somebody and they come in hot and they're like, and I know you just like attention. So when you posted that, and it was like, whoa, and I get so defensive, like, don't put something on me that you're just speculating about and then tell me why I did it. I always say, don't speak to my motivation, because only God knows what it is. I could lie to you or tell you the truth, but you can't speculate and say, because you're not in my head. And I'm an honest person. I will tell you, yeah, I was being petty. I'll be like, yeah, I was being petty. I'm my bad. But yeah, it's I think that would solve a lot of issues. What do you guys think? Do you think that assuming the other person had good intentions, or that there was there must have been a misunderstanding, would eliminate a lot of conflict?
That's the best way to go about it.
Assume positive intent with someone that you know. You can't say that you can't say that if you say, hey, or ask yourself, does this person love me? If yes, then they probably are coming to me from a place of care and concern. If those two things are true, then what they're saying is not meant to be malicious. If they don't come from, if it's not one of those two things, then ask yourself, why would they want to come from or hurt me by saying this? And if you can't come up with a why that doesn't make you feel stupid when you say it to yourself, then just listen to what they're saying and go from it.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it's hard for a lot of people to give constructive feedback without criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's even harder for people to take constructive feedback as it's not criticism as well. And then the most difficult thing I'd say, especially for men, is to be able to say that they didn't do anything, they didn't do something that they felt to themselves that they did adequately to a degree that made the person they were doing it to or for feel that it was adequate. So they take it as a personal affront to their work ethic, their manhood, their whatever. And again, I'm just not like that.
Would you say this is a fair statement? So somebody said they think that overall a woman's greatest fear is that she is going to be perceived by her man as unlovable, and a man's deepest fear is that he's going to be perceived by his woman as inadequate, as the deepest fear. Incapable, inadequate.
Shit, inadequate.
Would you agree that does that resonate? That his deepest fear would be that he's perceived as being inadequate?
Yeah, that's a line from Coach Carter. Our deepest fear is not that we're immortal, is that we're deeply inadequate. There's a saying for some old person that said that.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I don't think any man wants to be viewed as inadequate, because when we are, then we're viewed as less than men.
I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. I'm gonna mute myself. We're gonna take a look.
Yes, ask him. Say, what is the inadequate saying from Coach Carter, or the movie Coach Carter, to be specific?
It says our deepest fear is not that we are it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
There you go.
He's saying the reverse. So wait, powerful. Why would that be a fear that you're powerful?
Because you can't execute your power. If you're powerful beyond measure, then you know how much unrealized potential that means you have, unless your life is perfect. Like imagine finding out you have superpowers and you can't use none of them.
See, but I interpret it differently. And this is what ChatGPT says: "It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." We ask ourselves, it's like a imposter syndrome. That's what they're referring to, which is how I took it. Who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, famous, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? And it talks about don't play small. You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine. So this is about like imposter syndrome. I take it. I've never related, because there are other quotes like this that say like, you're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of succeeding. I've never had that fear. I've never been like, oh my God, what if this takes off and I actually sell courses? Like
that's a fear that's one of the few fears in life that I can say that I've experienced. I'm cool failing, but once you make it and get there, it's terrifying.
why? But what's the logic behind that?
Because
you're used to not having it. So, and all you think about is this, I could not have it again. So
that you lose it.
And then what happens is you do lose it because you're so worried about it that you actually do lose it. And then, if you got good people around you, then they remind you that, well, if you can make it once, you can make it twice, because the process doesn't change. But It was the most terrifying, the very first large paycheck that I got. Like, I sat and just looked at the computer screen for like 2 or 3 hours, and I didn't plan to do anything with it. I just looked at it, and it was reflected on how much I didn't have, and what so many other people have to do to make this kind of money. And then when I lost it, I think that was probably the only time in life that I was remotely depressed, because I had lost. It's fucked up. Shit happens. I fail often, but I know to fail forward, and the idea of loss now doesn't bother me. If I lose it all again, you give me 6 months, I can get back to a good place. But beforehand, the very first time I achieved something, it's kind of like when you jump off the diving board for the first time, like doing it, and you're in the water, you're like, oh, okay, Jesus. But then as you look up again, you're like, okay, I'm probably not gonna walk all the way back up there and do it one more time, because something can go wrong the second time or the third time you do it. So you're cool doing it once. So
okay, what are your thoughts, Mont, about the statement? The deepest fear of men is that the woman perceives him as inadequate.
Deepest fear of men is that the woman perceives him as inadequate.
You got sick from staying up all night on that show, huh?
You said what?
I said you got sick, didn't you, from staying up all night on that panel, huh?
No, I'm supposed to be getting over. I got sick Friday. No, they just said the same thing. They just said
because your body didn't. You guys went 2 days without sleeping.
They just said that.
Mama. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But no, I guess I don't know.
They said this is why men are very sensitive when women try to help, which is interesting, because given the example that I gave about, you think you're just saying, hey, it's raining tomorrow, just giving you a heads up. Then it's like, well, do you think I was an idiot and I didn't look at the weather? The lady who told the story, she was doing a podcast with her husband, and she said he went to install a microwave. It was one of those built-in joints. It wasn't just like setting on a counter somewhere. And she said the process took forever. And her first thought was just hire somebody who does this all the time. But she learned that that in their research, the deep. She said, if I say to him, why don't you just hire someone? It will say to him, you're inadequate. And so she bit her tongue, and she's like, of course it took way longer, but we didn't have a fight over it. So I just think I want to ask every guy I meet now if that resonates with him, because it resonated with me that our deepest fear is that we're not lovable. That's why if you guys don't want to talk to us, that's why if you guys sit at the opposite of the couch for a minute, instead of cuddling up with us, we're going to translate everything as, if I was good enough, if I was lovable enough, he would want to do this. He would want to have these conversations. He would want to love my food. He would want to make love for 40 minutes before finishing. And if he loved me enough. So I find it interesting. Did you see my text?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't see yours. My bad.
Go ahead.
Trying to give you guys a topic. Let's see. Remind me, by the way, to tell you about the the course, the student. We'll just do that. I rhyme to tell you about that.
Are y'all watching? Did y'all watch the episode of Love Island from Australia that everybody's talking about right now? Like, the girl got exposed because she hooked up with another dude, and she told the guy that it was just touchy, And then the dude told him that the dude was like, no, she needed her knee pads, and he exposed her on the reunion show. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I think it's funny as shit seeing somebody get exposed in an Australian accent. Like, I felt bad for the girl because no girl wants, nobody wants to get exposed when they, or in a sexual manner. But the way that he said it on the show in front of everybody had people spitting their drinks out, like tossing their popcorn. You're muted. Oh, thanks. I don't think she can hear me. You're muted. I can't. I can't. Oh, here.
Mute.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if it's gonna give feedback.
You have to mute one mic and leave hers open. Mute hers and open yours.
Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties.
Take your time.
Okay, is that better?
Yep.
Okay, I was saying, had she already been like matched with her person and then they just outed her, so her whole little person and everybody else knew what had popped off?
Yeah, so she did it before, I guess, that she decided she picked him, but it was in the same house when the guy was still there, and it was bad. Like, I felt so bad, but then also it's hilarious because they did it in an Australian accent. So I felt like the back and forth with she was like, they cut each other out differently over there. It was just, I don't watch it. It was only a clip that I saw, but see, so he just asked her, he was like, so you didn't, and they bleep it, but you can see what he's saying. And she's like, when you get caught, that immediate, like,
what to do, what to say. I wish I could disappear.
Yeah, it was great. I don't watch that type of stuff, but watching that clip was funny.
No, I missed that one, but I may have to double back on it.
Oh, I have.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll find it and send it to Yancy, but that shit was funny.
Did you see the show? Sorry,
I'm muting now.
Okay. Did you see the show Never Ever Mets? Have you even heard of that show? Let's start there.
Nope.
Okay, so basically it's these people who, it's on the OWN network, and it's the people who have been communicating for, some of them, really long time on a dating app or through social media, but they haven't met. It's called Never Ever Met. And so they bring them on the show and they get to meet in real life. And so so this lady, the recent episode came out, I have to remember to go back and watch the other episodes, but she finally met. And she's, you do the little confessionals to the camera. So she's like, I'm so excited to see him. He's really hot. He's just as hot as I thought he was, no catfishing or whatever. She said, but I have a really big secret that I have to tell him. So she said, I just gave birth a month ago. This woman had a whole baby on him.
Whole baby.
And she said she has, it like affected them being on the FaceTime stuff because she has to breastfeed all the time, a brand new baby. She told him she got a surgery and that's why she was in the hospital. Meanwhile, she's having a baby, right? So
she didn't lie. That's a surgery.
Right.
It was a lie.
So what's crazy is she oh, did I do that? Oh
no, I think I did. Sorry.
Yeah, if you meant to,
I didn't mean to.
You're allowed to, but if you didn't,
Okay.
I'll bring you back on.
Okay.
So she so when it finally comes time to like tell her secret, of course I'm clutching my pearls. Oh my God, he's gonna be horrified. He's gonna be like, what person hooks up with someone else and then gets pregnant and then doesn't tell you, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then he says, I have a secret to tell. He also got someone pregnant. So which obviously it's easier to hide if you're a dude, but it had happened like earlier on. And what's crazy is she justified sleeping with a dude because she kind of got the sense that he was messing around. And I was like, y'all are a mess. And it didn't stop there, Willie. She said, I know that you know about my 12-year-old daughter, and I've now told you about my 1-month-old. She said, I also have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. She went from one kid in his head to 4. And then had the audacity when he was processing the information as a man, you know what his brain went to besides her ethics.
Mhm.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mouths to feed. That's what his brain went to. And she took it as I'm not like I'm not worth it or something. I'm like, hey, can he just pause for a moment? Because it's one thing signing up for a person with 1 kid. It's another to be signing up suddenly for someone with 4 kids. Yeah.
Does she not know how much it costs to feed a human?
Bro.
Like you could be as dope as you want to. You just are no longer fiscally like feasible for him.
Yeah.
A mother of 4 versus a mother of 1. Like what?
That was wild. I was like, you can't make this stuff up.
I don't think I have a cutoff for how many kids a woman can have when I date her, but I had never thought about it. But a 1-month-old is a hard fucking pass. Is a hard pass. Like
you know, that's a whole different. And she's breast. So you think you're finally about to meet up for the first time? There's a lot of stuff you can't do. She can't.
I'm not having sex with you when you have a baby like bassinet next to the bed. That's crazy work.
Well, she's not. She doesn't have the baby because she had to have someone watching the baby because she's at the mansion, filming the show. But a month ago she had a baby, so she's pumping and stuff. Every few minutes, she's like, I had to keep making excuses as to why I had to leave the room, but she's leaving to go pump. I'm like, so that's crazy. They can't be intimate. Well, I mean, you can, but you have to wear the ugly nursing bra or whatever. But I was like, y'all are doing a whole lot. I don't know how anybody could move forward with somebody. One, it's technically cheating because whether or not they were in a relationship, you didn't tell them so that you knew something was wrong. You didn't tell them. But it's a lot going on. I'm like, you have a fear of long distance relationships. That's understandable at that point.
I have a fear of finding out about a 1-month-old baby now because I can't.
Can you imagine? And he's like, she was always like like, what do you say? They used to have video chats all the time, and then now it was either they got less frequent or it was like neck up or something. I don't know what it was, but I was like, that's
because she got her titties out. That's what. Yeah, that's even worse. And then the first time you see her naked, it's gonna be milk leaking out. No, I'm cool.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
or she got to wear the ugly nursing bra.
That's
wild.
I'm the dad that never ever like did the whole sample the breast milk thing like when they say we're supposed to do. But,
Clink, clink, clink.
We can't actually do a spill on this one. Clink, clink, clink. We got the garnish on the rim and the whole nut. Oh, this is like memory lane, Willie. I haven't had a lemon drop in so long. Oh, he went with the salt this time.
Okay, listen.
That's different. He's never done it with the salt before.
Look at him.
Oh, he's
the boy.
He came over one time with the little the towel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh,
this is he had to improv with whatever supplies in there because I was like, I don't think we have all the lemon supplies. There's a lot of supplies. Let's do it. Thank you for putting that order in there, Willie.
Yeah, the charge just came through on my phone, so
his prices are crazy. I'm sorry.
That's an expensive. Listen, if the next time I buy a woman a drink, I'm benefiting from it. Damn it!
And I'm not talking about a podcast conversation.
And it don't matter how long it takes.
She better. I got it. I'm 41. I'm not. Listen.
He's the ripe old age.
Yeah, I'm an old guy. I can't. I don't have it in me to do all these acrobatic tricks and shit. Do what works and go to sleep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have 17 more minutes to go. That means we have 17 more minutes to drop a love offering. Should you feel so inclined?
Somebody should drop an extension.
Willie, I appreciate you as a friend. Right now, I'm gonna need you to not encourage. I'm gonna need you to not encourage.
I'm just motivation. That's all.
Because that would just cut into family time. She only has one more day here.
No, Willie, don't do it to us, partner.
I mean.
Come on, now.
Dang, one sip. That hit a little. I think he put a little vodka.
He's trying to have you however long it takes tonight.
No.
Nah, man.
That's not the usual coconut rum. I think there was a little vibe. Let me text this man. You slip a little vodka back in there. Let's see. I said it burned.
That's never good to hear.
Wait, what? What? Oh, my brain got traumatized, and I went to with the show extension, and I just realized, oh my god, this has never happened yet. Where I had a family member do a love offering. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we do it when they do it tax free.
Yeah, give me my
Okay,
sound.
there we go.
I need a different sound.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well I'll give you.
I have a different sound.
Wait. We gotta give you the traditional one first. I don't see. I got all excited. I forgot to put it on the screen. Cousin Sean did a $50 love offering. She loved me. Oh, thank you, boo. Let's give you something special. Okay, these are really cheesy, but we're gonna give you whatever I have. No, that's horrible. That's the best I can. That's the best vibrant. All right. Oh, you just see. This is yeah. All right, well, let's bring her more cocktails. I think everybody should get a cocktail so they can all start sending too many love offerings. And they'd be like, oh, shoot, I didn't even put that many zeros on there. She's like, that was supposed to be $5. No, it's fine. Oh, it sucked. The decimal goes before the zero. But thank you so much. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, oh, yes, he did put vodka in there. But originally it was the, okay. All right. So we got, because I took a big gulp thinking it was rum, but no, that is not rum. That is, Willie, were you on there that one time where he got me lit during my show? I think it was like a Zoom mingle. Was it? Were you on that one?
I think that was one of the first ones that I was on.
Yeah, because I think I only hosted the very first one. And I was like, I just laid down and took a nap. And he was like, yeah, she's sleeping right now. During live event.
Nappy nap.
They were like, no, she can't have 2 cocktails moving forward. Okay, guys, there are 13 of you who are holding on almost to the 3rd hour. I have to know who the 13 of y'all are so I can give you some love. So just drop a comment and we're going to have a little bit of fun. Does anybody have a birthday in the month of May? We only have a few days left. Anybody had a birthday in the month of May? Go ahead and comment May if you have a birthday in the month of May. Anybody have a birthday in the month of, not 3 people dropping off when I asked that. What? They're like, I don't want receipts. Anybody had a birthday in the month of June? Let me know. Oh, let me see. What? Let's see. And she is good for it too. The notification did not come through, but let me check. It did. That's so weird. It didn't come through as a text. So thank you, Candace. Hold on, Candace. Hold the fort. See, I can't get to these buttons quick enough. Thank you, Candace. We love you. You always be dropping them love offerings. Candace dropped a 25er. Thank you so much. Might have to go on and get my little nails done. I just cut them off today. $25 love offering courtesy of Miss Candace. She always is good for a little love offering or two. Thank you so much. And if any of you think that you are going to leave without doing a love offering,
close them doors. Usher, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
He said what he said. Okay? Don't go and get your wallets out. Don't say you didn't bring cash into the Lord's house, because you can do Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, YouTube, Super Chat. You can mail a check from your checkbook in your pocketbook.
That's why you can't have a drink.
That's why you can't have a drink. We are down to 9 people. See, y'all 9 are the real ones, okay? She laughing. Thank you so much for the love offering. So we have let's see, make sure I get all these. Shout out to Lynette. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you to cousin Sean for the love offering.
Yeah.
Woo! And to Candace for the love offering. Y'all know I got a document every time. Okay, we are down to 11 minutes. Oh, and she said birthday. So let's see here. She has a excuse me, a May birthday. She is May 13th. Very nice. Does anyone have a June birthday? Going once, going twice. Anybody have a June birthday? Let's celebrate y'all in advance. Any June birthdays? I know when your birthday is. Nobody could ever forget that. Okay. Well, Cash App make you manually do whatever. I'm not used to having to do whatever. I don't even know how to do what I need to do. Any July birthdays? My son's birthday's in July. Any July birthdays? Oh, there it is. Now I can figure it out. There we go. No July birthdays? Well, dang, y'all quiet. When are your birthdays? Let me just put it like that. The 12 of you, when are your birthdays? Drop your, there we go. Okay. That is July 26th. Very nice. And I'm April, so all the way opposite. I'm just 1 month out. And Willie is in October.
I got the best birthday of the year.
Best birthday. Your shirt was fire, by the way. I meant to tell you last time, and I got no, off topic. Delicious. She is July 25th. Okay, July birthdays. Oh, all the July birthdays. July 14th. Okay, Janice, good to see you.
Yeah, I'm about to steal all y'all information. Got these secret questions. Got birthdays now.
Let's get your birth year and your mother's name.
Scam season.
Not scam season.
You know the state of Texas only has 4 fraud investigators in the whole state for the Treasury Department.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They be trying to get me with DMV. You haven't paid your traffic tickets. No, and I don't even have traffic tickets.
Yeah, one of my buddies is an attorney, and he was defending somebody that's got a big fraud case, and he was like, "You know how stupid you got to be to get caught when it ain't but 4 investigators in the whole state." Damn.
Yeah, you're not good at what you're doing, buddy.
Bro tried to get $300 million on the income tax return.
Speaking of fraud, we gotta talk. I got some tea for you.
Oh, somebody hit you one of them chargebacks,
bro. Worse than that. Sometimes make you want to just pull up. Sometimes
we could always give up. These last 8 minutes. I'll sacrifice them so I can get this information because this sounds good.
I'm telling you, y'all, we might have to just wrap it right on here. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. If you didn't drop your birthday, I'm sorry I can't help you. I was trying to wish you a happy birthday in advance. Jacob said pull up. I'm saying I need Pookie and them to pull up. Okay, no receipts. It can't trace back to me. I'm just saying. She said, wait, 300 mil. Oh, his story. Yeah. I forgot the number that fast.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're 7-11. That is so cool. If anyone forgets your birthday, they a lie.
And she get a free Slurpee on her birthday too.
She what?
She can go get a free Slurpee because 7-11 is free Slurpee day.
Yeah. He said, what about July 13th and 26th? Who has 2 birthdays? I am so confused. Yeah, I don't know about July 13th and 26th. If they forget 7-11, you wow for that. So my family has the date that my son is born on. My uncle's also born on. My cousin also born on. My niece also born on. Everybody got the same. Get your own birthday. Doggone, half the family got the birthday on the same day. Okay. Willie gave permission. It was Willie's points that got us here, so Willie is allowed to override. We're going to wrap 6 minutes. And stand by. I'm gonna FaceTime you and give you the tea.
I appreciate it. I want to hear this story.
I'll be posting the tea on Patreon. Just playing. If you're not signed up for Patreon, go ahead and do it. All right. Good night, y'all. Cousin, you want to say good night? You want to pop it in my good camera? Thank you to her for coming all the way from LA.
Bye, y'all.
Be safe.
Good night.